How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Hopefully everyone can hear me. Hopefully everyone can see me. Let's find out here. I got the chat pulled up. Let me know how we're looking. Let me know if we are good to go here. Got an interesting stream planned for you guys today. Hopefully you like it. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. I think we're good. I'm seeing some notifications come through that I'm live on random platforms here. You guys let me know if you can hear me and see me, and we'll get into it. Thank you, Lex. Always appreciate you, brother. Got your comment, where's the shovel, as well, in that thumbnail. I worked hard on that thumbnail. I hope everybody somehow, some little bit appreciates it. Max, thank you for being here. Shout out, Max, for telling me that Grok has Flux built into it. So real quick before we get into everything, I'll give you guys a quick backstory on that. So I was like, I want to kind of get a little more creative with the thumbnails, even though like I'm really not a designer. So and I just don't really have the time to deal with that. So I was like, let me go and make a AI image that is just, like exploratory in nature. And I wanted to do it last week, but I thought about it too late. So I was like, I'm gonna unearth. I'm gonna try to like discover things from my past. So I'm like, I had this vision in my mind of like when they, like they roll back like a stone from a tomb, and you like well, hopefully you don't see a dead body, but like you see like something in there, right? And like that's kind of the concept for what we did here. So yeah, if you haven't seen the thumbnail, you probably clicked on it, but if you haven't seen it, it was kind of interesting. Um, and why don't I just pull it up real quick? Yeah, so there's the thumbnail. Yeah, that was the concept. Um, I really like how it came together. I just think it's funny. I took that picture this morning, cropped it out and everything like that. I wanted to just be like, yeah, what the hell's in there? But yeah, so I mean, this is actually probably a good place to start here. Jackson, good to see you. Thank you so much. Lex, appreciate your love on the thumbnail design there. So yeah, yeah, but I mean, just to start here, just to kind of give you guys some insight into my mind. The concept here, yeah, is just that. Like we're kind of going through here, and there's these logos that you probably don't know. Maybe you know the last one here, but like these logos are kind of like hidden, not hidden, but they're like literally in the artifacts here of this tomb, so to speak, because these are literally logos for businesses that I've had and still have, but they're just not really like at the forefront of what I'm doing. And I was just going to kind of go through today and tell you kind of how I got to this point from an entrepreneurial perspective, so to speak. And then the bigger reason that I'm doing this is because I was going through all my websites in like grid painting on my servers and everything. And I was like, I need to really like clean a lot of this out. So I spent like, I think it was Tuesday, deleting a bunch of stuff and archiving things. And I would literally start it. I clicked record on the camera and I was like, I'm going to record just like me going through the websites and being like, because like I don't know about you guys, but when I create something, I don't really just want to throw it in the trash, even though it's bad. Like the sites you're going to see today are a lot of nightmare fuel, but they're bad websites, but they still represent a time where like I was building websites, but didn't necessarily know exactly what I was doing, or didn't know, didn't just like I don't know, just didn't like I knew what I knew at the time and I made it work, but I didn't, it's just interesting to kind of look back on. And I know I know a lot of us here are probably like a little more seasoned, but I know a good amount of us too at the same time are not like, maybe just getting into it or something like that. And I kind of hope that this is a little bit educational, for those people and just anybody in general, where we can kind of take a look at this stuff and be like, okay, yeah, if you're starting right now, maybe don't make the same mistakes that I did, a few years ago when I did these things. If I could save you any time, I think that's a win. So yeah, okay, so let's just dive in here, I guess. I'm just gonna roll with it. And again, this is kind of like an entrepreneurial journey and web dev journey at the same time. So I feel like I kind of got to give you some context on kind of where we're headed here. So I have like I would also recommend that like everybody do this. Like just make a spreadsheet and just put like 3 columns and just go like date, maybe a category if you want, and then like the thing, like the item that this is like my timeline of events. This is just the business section. There's over like 150 lines of like things that I've like documented, and maybe one day I'll turn into like a memoir or something. But this is just the business segment that all applies to what we're talking about here. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. So I was just going to kind of go through this timeline and kind of show you the websites and everything at the same time. And again, if you have any questions, or if you're like, Mark, why the hell did you do it like that? I'll try to remember why I did it like that. But yeah. AP Andrew Palmer, good to see you here, brother. Thank you so much. Apparently Andrew is still crap. I mean, I'm absolutely still crap, so I'm right there with you, brother. But yeah, okay. So this is kind of where we started here. So I'm going to try to we're going on a journey. We're hopping in the DeLorean, flux capacitor is going, and we're going back in time. So we're going way back to 2018. Yeah, it's kind of where it all started. I promise you we're not just going to look at the spreadsheet the whole time, but it is kind of important for the context. So going back to 2018, I was literally on a cruise. You can ask my wife this. I was on a cruise, and I was like, one of my first family cruises, I think, and I was like just like in the middle of like working a 9 to 5 job, and I really didn't like working like that. I didn't like being an employee. I didn't like that. I didn't like, building other things for people like that, so to speak. And I had a lot of ideas. And this is me just coming out of college. I think I just graduated, like literally the month before, I think. And I'm like, okay, I just have all these ideas and all this stuff. So like I remember vividly being like in the stateroom of a cruise, like with my now wife, girlfriend at the time. And I was like, I got this idea for this thing called Fueled by Progress, which I still think is an absolutely fantastic name, and I need to do something with. And I do have it trademarked. You'll see that down here. But like like I don't know if you guys ever had like ideas, and it's just like absolutely not the right time to have 55,000 ideas and execute on them. That is literally like the other thesis for like what we're going to see here today. So I came up with that idea, and I was just like, that's a fantastic idea. Let's work on that and do that. But as you'll see through here, this was like, a 6-year journey here to get to current. And it was just like, it's been an interesting wild ride of all sorts of stuff. So yeah. So let's keep going. So I came up with that idea, and then I like formed Mark Joseph Szymanski LLC, like the holding company. So I was watching a lot of Gary Vee content, and the dude has like a million businesses, and I was looking at guys like Mark Cuban, and I was like, oh man, I want to have like a whole business empire like this. So I decided I need a holding company. So I'm gonna own one entity, and then the entity's gonna own everything else. That in and of itself, not a bad idea. Terrible idea, in my opinion, but I know a lot of people have done this as well. Terrible idea. Just extremely confusing to name a company your name. Like, it's just, I would never recommend it. Do it if you want, but I would never ever recommend this. You'll see it somewhere else. Like I changed the name to ultimately MJS Industries, so don't ever do that. I would highly recommend against doing it. Holding company, good idea. Your name, kind of a bad idea. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to form like another company too, and I'm going to form Find a Tech LLC, which is where we can kind of start to get into some of the obviously web dev stuff, because Find a Tech is the thing that is like my agency, right? So that was like, I'm gonna build websites. I started building websites. The thing that's not in here, because it's not like, I guess, directly business related, is I started learning WordPress in like 2017. Started getting like into domains, into hosting, and all that sort of stuff. Very infancy of that whole thing in my mind, but that's where I started. So it's all happening kind of right around the same time, very quickly. So then I was like, all right, I'm going to build websites once I decided that I'm going to do that. So I'm still working a job, but like I'm kind of building up the little side business type thing and all that. And yeah, so we'll go over the websites and everything like that. Formed this other company called Zenith Properties Group with my buddy. And that ended up like never really doing anything, because you cannot do like 16 things at one time. And we wanted to like have like real estate and stuff. Maybe one day I'll be a real estate investor, but not now. I don't really even like that. So is what it is. Change that name, like I said, to MJS Industries, and would highly recommend, again, don't name something after yourself. I formed Szymanski Media LLC, which is kind of like still like the personal brand business and entity and everything like that all that goes through. And then I formed Fueled by Progress LLC, which is, you can already see, like, you're asking yourself, why the fuck are you forming like 16 LLCs? Well, it's because it's easy. I actually really enjoy the startup thing, but it's not the best idea. Again, I haven't given you any recommendations other than don't name your company after yourself. I would also say don't form fucking 5 LLCs out of the gate when you have no like money being made. I do like the idea of forming like an entity. I do think if you're gonna have a business, I like that. A lot of people say wait until you're making money. I don't disagree with that either. But if you're like going to be an entrepreneur, and that's definitely where you're going, I don't think it's a bad thing to get your feet wet with the understanding of how this stuff works. I learned so much through this whole experience. I also made, objective, subjective mistakes. So, yeah, just trying to give you some idea there. So then in August of 2019, I was like, or 2019, I was like, I did my first website project. Unbelievable. One day I hope to show you guys this. I could probably show you now, but I'd have to dig it up. I'd love to show you how bad I fucked up this first website that I did for $500 and unbelievable. Like it was like in a month and I had to like I had to learn everything. Cause it was like, I've talked about it before, but it was like trying to do like custom post type stuff, but I did it with like categories and the basic post because I had no idea what a custom post type was. This is why, and again, like I know I say this all the time, but if you guys don't, I know most of you guys probably do, but if you're watching this, if you don't know what like custom post types are and conditions and options and custom tags, if you don't know that stuff, please go watch my series or somebody else's series on that, because that is like the key that set me to the next level, that like actually allowed me to understand how to be more of a web designer, developer, whatever you want to talk about. Like I'm still not a designer, but it just opens up so many doors. It gives you so many options. If you can understand and think in that like more of a like structured architectural way, you can do so much more and you can charge so much more, because it's actually it's not that it's easier, but you can build better things. Like you can build bigger things. And I'm probably preaching to the choir on some of it, but that is just like, I had no idea on that first project. So just please like learn those types of things, just so you can somehow, potentially do that. A couple comments here. Toby, what's up, brother? Great content, by the way, man. Really appreciating that stuff. Keep it up. Why not your name for your holding company? The reason, okay, I'll give you a quick reason for this, because I probably just told you not to do it without an actual example. The reason you don't do this, in my opinion, where like you have Mark Joe Szymanski LLC, is because when you walk into, like, this literally happened to me. You walk into a bank and then which I wouldn't walk into a bank now, it's a separate discussion, but I would just like get an online bank. But anyway, you walk into a bank and then you show them like your operating agreement or, your articles of formation or, whatever. And they're like Mark Joe Szymanski LLC. It's like your name, you're like signing your name. Sometimes though you have to say like your name, member of the LLC. You can do it. I'm not saying there's any reason not to do it like legally. I'm just saying it's very confusing in my opinion. And I changed mine to MJS Industries. So like when you think of it, and this is just the way I think, when you think it's like Mark Szymanski, the individual, owns MJS Industries LLC. And then MJS Industries LLC owns whatever the hell else I have. And again, also huge disclaimer, probably should have said this in the beginning. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. Don't take anything that I have as actual advice. I am purely for entertainment. So yeah, cover my ass there. Yeah, that's what I would say. That's just based on personal experience. I think it's a little cleaner and easier that way. As soon as I made that change, I was like, okay, this makes more sense to me. Therefore, it's probably going to make more sense to other people because I can explain it better that way. So that would just be my thought. But you guys are free to do whatever you want. Appreciate that question there, Toby. Thank you. So then I launched that client website, had another one, did my first episode of Fueled by Progress. We'll get into that here. I think I'm going to get into the website stuff right as I finish up these last little bits here. Started AM and the PM podcast with Amanda, and then we did our first episode of AM and the PM and formed AM and the PM LLC. If you're keeping score at home, how many LLCs do we have? Like 6, which is ridiculous. We have like MJS Industries, AM and the PM, Fueled by Progress, Find It Tech, Szymanski Media, Zenith. There was a time where I had 6 LLCs. No reason for that when you're not making like serious money. Absolutely no reason, in my opinion. Yeah. Mark Szymanski. It's a little weird. Yeah. Okay, so let's stop with the timeline here for a second, though. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that. If you are, just throw a like down there for me. We'll come back to the rest of this because there's some other like interesting, maybe lessons to be learned. But let's think about this now, okay? It's like June of 2020. What do you have, Mark? You've been talking about like all these LLCs and shit that you're doing. Like, what do you actually have from the web design standpoint? What are you like doing in any of these things? Well, let's go take a look at it. So obviously we have the timeline here, but I'm not sure exactly how my mind wrapped around it because I had all these ideas and like literally I would be like, oh, maybe I should do this first, or maybe I should do that first. You saw in the thumbnail that like there were some logos in there and they matched, some of these LLCs. So let's just maybe take it from the top forget the chronological thing for a second. Let's take it from the top. So I was like, all right, well, I need that holding company website. Just something simple where like if like long term doesn't need to be crazy. Literally took this inspiration directly from like VaynerX, if you've ever heard of Gary Vee. He had like, VaynerMedia has all these companies, and he had like this one website at the time, which I think it's probably different now. I could probably check that. It'd be funny. Be funny if it's kind of similar. So VaynerX, I literally was watching a bunch of this shit, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to VaynerX. It's actually still pretty similar. Like it was different. Like it was actually different than this before. I pretty much fully ripped it off, but it was more of like just like a a snap scroll to each one of these different companies. It had some like little thing on the side where you could go to these different ones, and I was just like, I was just basically like, I want to be like that. I want to have like these multiple things. Obviously nowhere near this scale, but I want to have that type of thing. Yeah, this has changed. There's a lot more shit going on there now. But basically, like, I was like that. So I was like, okay, this is MJS Industries. And then you scroll down. I don't even know if this stuff works. I'm going to give you the kind of the concept of what I did. And then I'm going to go in the back and I'm going to show you how bad this is. Okay, so like I go and I'm like, okay, I just want, I just kind of want to show the things that I have, right? Show off the things that I'm doing, things that I have, the brands that I have. So the concept will be like, I could link to like, whatever, like mjs.industries or whatever. And then somebody could go there and be like, okay, this is what this guy or this holding company, this guy that owns this holding company like has, right? So that was the concept. Again, I'm not flexing on any of this because a lot of this was a lot of bad mistakes, not just from the web development thing. Like the websites are but like I'm saying, like, and they haven't been touched in a while too, so there's a lot of problems like bugs. But I'm trying to like educate too on the business side, because I used to do this more, and then I leaned more into like the web portion of it, the tech side of it. But the business side of it is just as interesting and more almost more of a passion for me. Is like, don't like if you want to explore, like I would say go and do that, but like realize that this was probably not really like a good idea for me to do all these things. Like it didn't, looking back on it, like I did learn a hell of a lot, but there was a time where I was like, I was like filming an FBP episode, and then I was filming an AM and the PM episode in the same week, and you'll see those when we get to those websites. Like I was filming those things, and then I was editing those things, and I was making the thumbnails, and I was doing all that, and it wasn't getting like any level of really like barely any level of engagement, and it wasn't getting like it wasn't making really any money. And like we tried merch on all those types of things, and it was like, it's just like, it was like following the crowd in a way that like could have worked. But if you do, there's this thing where it's like, it's a circle, and then it has a bunch of like little small arrows coming out of it, and then there's another side of the graphic where there's a circle, and the arrow is like just one arrow, and it's like way further than just like, like if those are like, they'll say like 1 centimeter arrows, like 10 1 centimeter arrows, and then the other one's like one arrow that's 10 centimeters. Just like giving you an example. I don't know why I used the metric system right there, but whatever. The point is that you can go, if you just focus on one thing, you can go a lot further, or at least like niche down like a little bit more. Like I'm talking like, this is multiple podcasts in random things. I'm the producer. I built these setups and everything like that. I bought all this stuff, right? Like, my girlfriend at the time was my wife now. Like she was my co-host for the one. I was lining up guests for this other podcast. And like, honestly, I feel like these podcasts I'll get to that. They went further longer than you probably think. Like they're, not like very long, but they're like close. They're approaching like 100 episodes or something like that, somewhere between 80 and 100 episodes. And it's like, that was a lot of work that I just did for like learned. Yeah, had some really good conversations, but I didn't actually like make any money from that, really. And it was just like, I don't think I really lost a ton of money, but it was just like a weird thing. My point is, if you want to do that, maybe I'm not giving you guys any business advice. Maybe you're just like, you just already know this. Fantastic. Is don't try to do 17,000 things at one time. It's really not like a good idea from my experience, at least. So that's kind of what I would say. Oh shit, are you the Mark Jason Mancy? Yeah, I'm one of them. There's probably another one out there somewhere. Autographs after the stream. Thank you, Brendan. Yeah. So anyway, so then this was kind of like that initial one there. We can kind of go into the back, see what this is like. All of these websites, again, I had literally just learned about Elementor. You can see how ridiculous this is already. Like, look at all this stuff that's in here. Obviously, some of this stuff is Elementor, but like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff like natively at all. Also, I'm talking about a lot of different shit here, but also I want to talk real quickly about like how Elementor, just as an example, but I'm using it as the personal experience. How different Elementor was in whenever the hell I built this, 2020 or something, 2019. We'd have to go back to the timeline. When did I probably build this? Probably built this around like, yeah, we'll say like 2019, 2020. How different Elementor was in 2019, 2020 than when it is now. You know what I mean? And that part to me is like kind of like really interesting when you think about it, because you're like, there are so many things that I had to like work around and like glue and tape together to make work then, that now they probably just have it natively. And I didn't go back and I didn't fix anything, obviously. But it's like, this is why I try to not shit on tools that I haven't used recently, because Elementor did serve me pretty well back then, and I just don't use it now. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's necessarily a bad product. I'm sure it has its flaws, but I always want to like personally want to be careful when I'm like operating off of the knowledge that I have from like years ago, because if I operate off of that knowledge, it's not really true now. So that's just another random aside. But again, like you go back in here and this is like, it's actually, and also slightly a testament. Like I haven't touched this website in a very long time. Like it's still operating. Maybe it's not operating perfectly, but you know, it's another thing for it. So yeah, so what do we got just real quick? Because you guys probably enjoy looking at the plugins that I had, like, you know, redirect to homepage. I'm sure there's an easier way to do that rather than just a plugin. But it was just a one-page website. I didn't want them to go anywhere else, right? So just wanted them to, if there ever was something else, just go here. Because all of these links and everything like that just go straight out to the actual, you know, the brand websites. AWP, premium add-ons. I think this was for the snap scroll thing. I don't know if Elementor has snap scroll natively now, but that was like, how do I do that? And I was like, I don't know. So I just did that. Robin image optimizer, updrafts, you know, word fence, Piedlog, whatever. You know, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. There's nothing super crazy on this one per se, but I'll do this real quick just to kind of see what we got going on here. It's been a minute here. Okay. Yep. I don't know what all this stuff is. So yeah, I mean, we're using sections, right? You know, it's nothing crazy. This is just kind of like a duplicated thing, but a little bit of animation, some background images, right? So I don't know, nothing crazy on this one. This was, you know, the one to kind of show you guys the big, you know, any sort of ideas or whatever. It's the other thing too, is I kind of want to show you guys, hopefully with some of these other websites, if you do anything similar, like you can kind of think of some ideas or, you know, maybe get some things. I don't know. David says, I remember when I used to install tons of free plugins on a website. That's the thing, is like you go in here and you're like, you know, there's these other ones you're gonna see, they're bad. Okay, this is one where we are dipping our toe into the water right here. Okay, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Hope you guys enjoy it. Technology changes fast and it's accelerating. 100%, Chris. Thank you for being here, man. Yep, 100%. It's like you got to be careful. You got to like try to stay ahead, and you got to try to like remember that like you almost can't talk about things from a couple days ago, let alone, you know, a couple years ago. Just because it all changes. Elementor is vastly different now. It could take a software like that a year to function vastly different. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's got it natively now. See, you know, exactly. Word fence is nice. Yeah, I mean, again, I have like, and that's another thing too, is like, not only do you change tools sometimes because other tools are better, you also change tools just because your stack changes. When I built this website initially, oh man, where was I? I was originally, I have a video too, like I was on name.com and then I moved to Cloudways and then I moved to GridPane now. So this site has actually been at least on two different like that's two different hosting companies. And when I built this one, mainly for like security and things like that, like I was using WordPress. I think for a time I was using like iThemes, and I think it's solid now or whatever. And but now, like, you know, if I finish a site, I normally just, GridPane has Fortress, so I just boom, you know. So it's like, it's just, not only do you change when things actually change, you just change when you change, so to speak, right? So it's crazy. It's a wild situation. All right, where do we go next here? Let's take a look here real quick. The comments. Yeah, you guys are gonna enjoy this one. People can learn a lot from you. I wish I had someone like you around my, Anna, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm just talking, you know what I mean? I appreciate that. It took me till my early 40s to grasp the stuff you were talking about. I just feel like I'm just overzealous, absolutely overzealous when I did all this, and just naturally curious. So hopefully helped me a little bit, but I'm just trying to learn, try, and share the things that I do. I've actually fun fact there. I've never used Metabox. I don't think I ever have, but maybe I should give it a shot one day. I really just used ACF at the beginning when I learned first about like custom post types and stuff, and then I've told this story before too, but like there was a project that I needed to do nested queries on, and I was like, oh, let's do let's find an option. And I was like, I went into Reddit, and somebody told me Jet Engine could do it, and that was when I was using Elementor, and I like bolted on Jet Engine, and that was before you could do the query loop stuff in Elementor. So I was like, all right, well, Jet Engine saved the day there. So I've been using the LTD of that for a while. Yeah, so but lots of options to do different things. Okay, so so let's move on to our next one here. Okay, so we talked about like this holding company situation. I formed like the Smansky Media thing. I told you I was on the cruise, and I was like, oh, okay, Fueled by Progress is a fantastic name. Still think it's a fantastic name. Still got to do something with it, but we only have so much time in a day, so we'll see what that happens there. But again, still have all these entities except the Zenith Properties one, just because that one never really, it was a complete failure to launch. But this Fueled by Progress one, okay? So let me paint the picture back to you now. Okay, we're going back in time, and we're like, okay, I'll tell you, I will tell you guys exactly how all of this happened, okay? I was watching a ton of content on YouTube, like I was talking about Gary Vee. The other big content I was watching was, if you've ever heard of Max Tuning, I was watching a ton of that. He had a brand that you've probably seen a ton of the shirts that I wear, because I have not bought clothes really in like fucking 10 years. And it's called Ever Forward. Okay, so Ever Forward Apparel, really enjoyed like what he was doing on the internet. He was like, I think he's like maybe like 7 years older than me. So it's like one of those situations where it's like, oh, I can see myself becoming something like that or whatever. So I was like, I need a name. And again, Ever Forward is an incredible name. Like I was like, I need something like that. And Fueled by Progress, just amazing in my opinion, just came to me. And it, logo and all that sort of shit is subjectively bad, but all of that was just like, I want that. And it was, again, that kind of that time, I feel like a lot of people were like doing like Alpha Elite was really coming up, and so many other things, and like kind of just like active wear. And that's all I wear is like, I just wear like, active wear stuff. If you're at WordCamp US, that's all I wear. So like, I was like, I need something like this. And again, this is like funny how bad this is. I gotta like see if we can like, I don't know, it might look weird if I shrink this kind of on stream like this, but yeah, it's weird. So anyway, like what I learned here on this venture, so to speak, okay, is I was like, all right, I want to create a clothing brand, sort of, but I also want to create like a podcast around this, because I was still the same person then. I was like forming this same person that you see now, where I'm like very curious and interested in hearing other people's perspectives and thoughts and like their opinions on the world and shit like that. So I was like, and I had a lot of thoughts for myself, because at the time, again, I was working a job and I didn't really like where I was at. And I just saw a lot of parallels to like other people doing stuff. And I was like, I'm going to do my own thing too. So I started this, and like, I don't know where the website, like how it got to this point, but I think like it pretty much just naturally got to this point, and then I just let it sit here. This is where I got into the point of like actually creating stuff, so to speak, like media, and then kind of the merch, but all of this merch is not like custom. It was like, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to create apparel or like gone into that realm at all, but like there's this idea of like print on demand, which is very easy, quote unquote, to start, where you could just like have shirts and like all this stuff, all this different like random stuff on here. And like, again, like I didn't make any of these things. These are just designed on the computer, specifically on printful.com. And then I just like, there's literally a WooCommerce integration where you just bring the stuff in, and they could like, basically you would click on this. I don't even know if any of this is going to like work. I know this website is notoriously slow, because once we get into the back end, you guys are going to have an actual heart attack. But you could just go on here, and this is where my first stint at like kind of like understanding how e-commerce kind of worked a little bit. So I went in here and I was like, all right, so this stuff is just pulled in from that print on demand place. Let's go to like Medium, I think most of it's out of stock or whatever. But like you add it to the cart, and the person buys it, but it doesn't exist yet. So then the order gets, shipped out to, or the order basically gets like synced over to Printful. They make it somewhere and they ship it directly to your customer, and they take most of the money. Honestly, it's really not like a, you got to be doing some serious volume for print on demand stuff, but that's a side note. But anyway, so that was my thought process. My thought process with Fueled by Progress was three-pronged, okay? The business was, and never did I actually have a serious business plan for any of this shit. I just was like winging it. But my thought process was three things for Fueled by Progress. It was podcast, apparel, and community. You can see it on the header. And that was literally what I was leaning into. Every week I was doing podcast episodes, at first by myself, then with guests, because again, I was watching like Joe Rogan and shit, and I thought like anybody could have like a guest podcast. Didn't realize that the people that he was having on were actual celebrities and people would actually want to watch that, but that's neither here nor there. Then you have apparel and you have the community side, and I will go through all this because I do think hopefully you guys are enjoying this to a degree. Like this right here is one of those things where like this could have been a really good business, okay? Like this could have been a really good idea. The problem was I was half-baked because I was like working a job. I was trying to do other stuff. I was doing this. I was doing that AM and the PM that we'll talk about. I was also trying to build websites for other people. You can't do that. Like it's just almost impossible. It's almost impossible, as we're seeing like in many different places, to like run multiple companies by yourself, even with people. It's basically completely impossible to do it by yourself. So again, I learned a lot, but not really recommended, I would say. So yeah. All right. So back to this, kind of just give you an idea, and then we'll dive into the back end. Is like, again, the podcast, the apparel, the community. You can kind of see all that sort of stuff. You can see kind of like the way that I laid this out and everything like that. There was Instagram here at one point, but it was it's broken now. For the about page, like this is me, my wife now, my girlfriend at the time, Amanda, and kind of just like telling us like what this means. Like Fueled by Progress is just like, it's like words to live by. And it's because like I was literally, again, I've said this 2 times already, but I didn't give you the actual reason. I was literally on that cruise and I felt like shit because I wasn't like getting anything done. I wasn't progressing. I felt bad. And now I'm different. I'm a little different now, but it was because like I was like working 9 to 5 for somebody else. And then I'm not trying to like pitch entrepreneurship here either. It's a separate discussion, but like I just didn't feel good about that. And then now, like, in that moment, I was like, I'm not moving myself forward. Even though I'm on vacation, that's an aside. I didn't feel good normally. So it was like, I need to like, I'm fueled by progress. It's literally just like what I am. And I feel like what a lot of other people are. So that's why I came up with it, fueled by progress. And that's kind of where it stemmed from. So then we go over to the podcast thing, which kind of like came before the LLC piece, if I'm remembering correctly. I was like, I want to create something like this. Like I want to create a podcast where I'm talking to other people. I'm learning through them. I'm having conversations with them, all that sort of stuff. And you could see like the very early beginnings of like me stealing, like borrowing ideas from other places and creating these types of things. This is literally a picture of me in my parents' kitchen with all of this shit. I wonder if there's like I could probably actually, I think this is a background image, but I could probably like show you that somewhere. I don't know if it's somewhere else on the website, but it's literally like all the shit that I bought for this podcast. And it's just like kind of unbelievable. I kind of do want to show this. Is there, can I pull this background image out of here real quick? Let me see here. How does Elementor do this? Probably right here. Where's our background image? I don't know. I could probably pull it up somewhere else too, but is it this one? I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to that. But anyway, so like you can kind of see like, we're on the podcast page, like where can you listen? Literally every single platform, because I just have crazy OCD and I just want to do that. Also, like it was literally on YouTube. Okay. It was on YouTube. Stop. Okay. Like, look at this. Look at all these episodes that I did. Okay. You can see like, there was actually kind of 2 eras to this as well. I'm not trying to go super nostalgic here, but I'm trying to like give you context. There was kind of 2 eras where I was just recording like on my phone by myself, and then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna turn it to like more of a guest thing, and that's where kind of the videos started. So again, you have to understand, like I'm trying to give you a business lesson. Like this is like an immense amount of time that I was dedicating to this with such small ROI. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying you need to be cognizant that like, if you're going to put this much effort into something, have a plan to potentially make money from it, unless it's a pure hobby. But it wasn't really a hobby for me. Like I was just mixed in this weird spot where like I wanted to make money, but I'm not doing the right things to make it make money. So you got to be really careful about that. But look at all these episodes. Like again, I'm setting this shit up. Okay, I'm either going in my like parents' garage here, or I'm doing them over Zoom, or I'm going on site to places. Then I switched into like this little shed area thing in my parents like property there, and then like eventually I moved out and everything like that after this. But but like it's just crazy. Like I literally set all this stuff up. I bought the stuff. I scheduled these guests. I did all these things. I had these hour plus conversations. I edited them. I edited them in video and in audio as well. Like it was a crazy time. It taught me so much, but it was I guess that's what you do in your 20s. I don't know. Whatever. So there you go. So I was on YouTube like doing that. And then like on this side of things, right back to our website side is like, you can see right here, like this is a small, stupidly laid out section, but this right here, this section, I don't have my little square thing, but this section right here where how to connect, this is the little shit that like, if I'm trying to actually give, like digital marketing business level, concepts to or advice, this is the stuff where the little things that you don't think of, like not just like how to listen, but how to like get connected and do something. So like become a member. I literally wanted to become a member. I'm not even sure what's on this page. It could be anything. I don't know. It's nothing. So like the idea was like for listeners, you could become a member of the show and do stuff like that. Like I was experimenting with like, some sort of not Patreon, but because I wanted to do it all in WordPress because I had this thing and I wanted to do it all here. So I was like thinking about that, become a sponsor. I have no idea if there's anything here. There might be like a form or something. But those types of things, and then like influencers, like be a guest or whatever, those types of calls to actions for different people, depending on like where you're at. And I'm not saying lay it out like that. I'm just saying those concepts could be like really, really beneficial to anything that you're doing. If you're doing media or if you're doing any sort of business, if you're doing, let me try to real quick, like do it for like a web design thing. If you're like a web design agency, it would be like, obviously like for business owners, like, reach out or something like that, like become a, like get your website redesigned. Another one would be like partners, like other agencies or something like that. If you want a white label for them and they want a white label for you. And then the other one would be like similar verticals or referral partners, like affiliates. Not enough people are leveraging the whole referral thing in the agency space. I'm just trying to give you guys examples that might be closer to home. So just something like that. I'm not saying put it all on the one page like this, but like those types of things I think are the next level. I'm trying to sprinkle in a little bit of insight for you. And then I had all these episodes, and this is kind of interesting because all these episodes are automatic. Like this was automatic. There's a plugin that we'll see in the back end here that was, again, this is going to be slow as shit, and you're going to see a lot of nightmare fuel here with a lot of this stuff. But because you can see how crazy I was when I was just like trying to understand. Like if some of you guys remember right here, Ellie Skin, Ellie Custom Skin from the Elementor days. This is like, you don't need this really anymore. Great plugin at the time, but you don't need it anymore because it is all baked in now, right? So, it's just crazy. But the podcast one, if anybody's interested in this, the way this podcast thing works was, and it might be different now because again, this was a while ago, but Second Line Themes had this plugin called, just like podcast uploader or something like that. Where's that? Podcast importer by Second Line, which is like, I think they were making themes too, but you just like pop in your podcast feed, you say like where you want it to be and everything like that, and then boom, it works. And you could also do like, I think it had a pro version or whatever. But my point is that I was all about, and still am, if you know, like almost like automation, dynamic data integration, like and I'm not perfect by any means at all, any of that stuff. But if there's a way to make this stuff easier, I did not want. Think about the situation. Like I said, I'm booking these guests. I'm doing all this stuff. I do not want to also have to come in here after I put it into an RSS feed already. I don't want to have to, and on YouTube, I don't want to have to come into my own website too if I can avoid it and paste in all of this shit. so like I just mapped it all to work. And it wasn't the best thing in the world, but like it worked to a certain degree. And now I'm thinking at the time I probably could have integrated the YouTube video piece into it more because that would have been way better. But my point is, like, you could listen to it right here if you really wanted to. Nobody's going to do that probably. But again, I was using Anchor at the time. Now it's podcast, Spotify for podcasters or whatever. It was just a crazy time. I learned a lot. Again, it was really cool. And then the search, I think maybe still works. I have no idea. I don't know. Was there? Let's see. Maybe it still works. Yeah, it does. Look at that. So this search, I think, was this built with Elementor or was this built with? I think this was before. I think this was before my jet engine. I'm not doing a full, tutorial on any of this stuff because I don't even know I did it at the time. But like, we're doing like the LA custom skin for loops. We're doing the search results archive thing. I had this slide in mobile menu, which I can't even remember how that works. I'm actually kind of interested. Let's take a look at that real quick. Might be bad. Oh, look, we got a little slide in. I was probably a pop up. Did that say a pop up? That was kind of cool. Because again, I didn't want to like. There was it was a pop up there, which there's like so much stuff that like it was like on the borderline of like I knew at the time I didn't want to like get a bunch of like unnecessary like plugins and things, but I also didn't know how to do a ton of things natively, so I like would try to figure out how to do a lot of it. But yeah, I mean, it had like literally search and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, crazy, just a crazy situation. Derek, what's up, brother? Appreciate you being here. Toby, on this episode of Mark roasting himself for some not so good decisions, I'm actually loving it, laughing and learning. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. LE custom skin from before Gen Engine, those weird times. Yeah, that was exactly it. It was like if you didn't have that, then I discovered that, and I think that was when it kind of went by the wayside. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to go back and see the evolution of all this. I'm not kidding, guys. There's a lot of shit on this website. Like there's a ton of plugins. There's a ton of like really good like thoughts, really good, half-baked ideas. And just let's look at this plugin list real quick. How many? 40. Yo. That's not terrible. It's not great. 301 redirects, active, better docs. So like something like this is a great example. Better docs seems like great tool for like documentation, all that sort of stuff. But if you know how to do dynamic data and you're the type of person that wants control over your stuff, you don't even really need something like Better Docs because you could probably build it yourself. Like you could build that whole system yourself. It's just kind of interesting that like when you get past the level of, I got to think of like the stages of learning WordPress. The first one is like you have no idea what you're doing. Maybe maybe you discover a theme or a page builder, and then you're like, okay, then maybe you're like, okay, well now I need plugins, so like I want to do something specific. Then I look for a plugin, and I'm like, okay, let's do a plugin, and you're just like searching the repo because you don't know that premium plugins generally are like could be better or have more features and all that sort of stuff, right? And then you're like, all right, well now I have premium plugins, and then maybe it's like you buy something like again, no shade towards Better Docs, but I'm saying like maybe you buy like a premium plugin of Better Docs, and you're like, this is great, but there's things in this that I don't really like. Like there's features of it that I'm not exactly in love with, or there's things that's missing. And then it's like, then you look at that. If you have the next knowledge, rung of the ladder there, where it's like, okay, I could just build with something like even ACF and just relationships, or even like a jet engine. Like I could just build something that is, again, I'm using a UI. I'm not really developing it, but I'm using the tools of the UI that are just like kind of they're building this tool, this software like a jet engine gives me the tools to build something that I want from a graphical user interface, rather than something like a Better Docs that's just giving me the thing that I want, but not exactly how I want it. And I think that that's another one of the key unlocks that I have. It's like I kind of skipped that in a lot of ways. Like I did it for a little bit, but I was like, wait a minute, I could just build like instead of like wherever Better Docs is here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it might be kind of hard to like explain. But like all this is, if you look at Better Docs, all it really is they have some cool like stuff on the front end, like the UI and stuff. But all it really is like a custom post type that has built-in stuff here that could actually kind of get kind of confusing in certain ways. It's kind of like when you think of the portfolio. That's another big one. Is just if you type in portfolio, because a lot of people would have that issue in the repo. It's a really nice package to put a portfolio, but it's definitely limiting. So like you have something like Better Docs where it's like, this is a cool UI and things like that, but ultimately all it is like taxonomies maybe and custom post types with like a question and an answer. That's all it is. So I tried to build all this with like, as an example, Better Docs, like some documentation for this business that never really went anywhere. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Cart flows was in there because I wanted to do like extra stuff on the checkout, custom post type UI when advanced custom fields didn't have post type pieces, dynamic conditions, LA custom skin, Facebook for WooCommerce, MailChimp, right? I mean, this is just crazy the amount of stuff in here, right? And Printful, we talked about that. Gift cards, like WooCommerce gift cards. None of this ever like actually even like it was implemented, but no, like none of it even really got much to it. Ultimate Member, because I started using Ultimate Member because I wanted to have that membership concept to the website, and it's just like this is getting heavy at that point. Yeah, just all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. Elementor has gotten way better over the years for sure. Also install Better Docs before Jet Engine. Yeah, a tool like Better Docs gives you wooden chairs. Jet Engine gives you wood hammer and nails. It's great. Yeah, great analogy there, Toby. Exactly. So yeah, so that's another example there. What else did we do here? I did though at the same time. Obviously, we had ACF in there. I probably like installed Better Docs before I realized that you could do that because I have like these. I had like jobs. Like let's just take a quick peek around the rest of this website because there is so much shit on here that like I was like building a website for a company that didn't exist, but I was building it like the company was like making millions of dollars. Just the ideas that were flowing and stuff like that, because I was just stealing them left and right from other places. It was crazy. So we talked about the podcast and everything like that. So this help center, if it still works, again, might look like shit, but the concept is like, this is like, oh yeah, I have like thousands of people ordering stuff, right? Like I really need fucking support articles on like all these different stuff, like how to pay and all this stuff. Like it's just kind of like way putting the cart before the horse necessarily. Like, again, not bad because I wanted to understand how these things work. And now I'm happy that I do understand how they work. But my point is like sales is actually really important. And when you have a business, right? Like you have to be selling stuff, which I wasn't. So again, is what it is, but that would be my takeaway here. Like you don't need a support article for how do I make a return when nobody buys anything in the first place. Okay, so it's just it's one kind of important thing that plagued me back in the day there. This privacy policy, I don't even know where I got that. That was probably ass. I don't know where I got that. Returns and exchanges, again, where does that even come? Yeah, I don't even know what that. There's nothing there. My account. I guess I'm logged in right now, so you're not gonna be able to see that. It was a really cool login page, and I'm actually not even sure how I did this. This was just like styling, I guess, like the WooCommerce stuff. Kind of cool. I even put applications in here. Wow, did that work? That probably didn't work. I love this. I love this concept. I still love it. I'm just like, I love the concept of the all-in-one. Like one WordPress website that has all of your stuff in it, like has all of your e-commerce, all of your app, like your extra shit like that, like your applications, everything, like not leveraging outside systems. The trouble is that is quite heavy. It's not limiting in the sense that you can't do it. It's limiting in the sense of like how you can interact with it in a lot of ways. Like sometimes you'd have to like take a Shopify, for instance. Shopify makes it real easy to like, I think, be on your phone on like an app basically and say like, okay, hey, this order came through, it's fulfilled, stuff like that. I know WordPress has a little bit of that going on, but if you want other people, we'll call them lay people or like employees that don't understand WordPress to deal with it, it's just like that creates a lot of issues because if you're not familiar with how this was built, then how are you going to interact with it? I mean, you could build systems to interact with it perhaps, but it's just a real weird situation. I like had wallpapers, like, I mean, like taking photos and shit. I actually had some of these created. Yeah, like this gentleman here. I went on Fiverr and I tagged him in these wallpapers so like you could to give him some credit. Like I paid for some of these to be established, to be created, right? And I did this. I really also, there's another random thing. I really like the idea of attributing who things are done by. I mean, I did pay for these, so it's whatever. But like I really like this idea. Like this guy has probably gotten no clicks from any of these, but I did pay him. But like it's kind of cool. I don't even know how I did this little hover effect thing. Probably some CSS just with Elementor. But, I had like mobile wallpapers, desktop, super ultra wide because I got the long, huge desktop here. Just other random stuff. Careers, like again, we weren't really hiring because we weren't making any money. But I still felt the need to do something like this. Again, fully with like ACF, custom post types. Did it like I should, but just didn't have the actual like sales to justify doing any of this. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, we were gonna hire a apparel designer when we hadn't sold any apparel. Yeah. So then you could even like, I even did this where like you can apply now and it brings in the brings in the parameter, multi-step form. Like I'm not gonna say the design looks good. I did like the dark idea, but it kind of didn't really work. This is without a framework. This is like element. You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy. I guess we had a Discord. I don't even remember that really. That's probably gone now. Wild, 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 wild. Ambassador program because I thought that was huge. I like did like I wanted to have like people that were like ambassadors, like had this little pioneer label on these guys because they were like some of the first to be interested in this. Does this do anything? Yep. So like yeah, I made a whole video on this. I wanted to have like an ambassador program. Like, what does that mean? Like, what defines an ambassador? What are the benefits of being an ambassador? Like, look at this shit that I like came up with. I don't know if you can even see this at this point. Like, look at this stuff that like I thought that this was like this is like steal these ideas, please. If you're doing anything like this and actually having success, please steal these ideas because this is good stuff that I just didn't really like follow fully through with because I don't know, I was doing other things or I like just wasn't making money from this specifically. It was fun, but it just didn't, completely materialize. Look at this fucking application I built. Oh my God. I think I'm almost certain this is with Elementor forms too. This isn't even with a form builder. This is nuts. Photo, all your website stuff, all that sort of stuff, your passion, t-shirt size. I was going to give him a t-shirt. Unbelievable. Actually unbelievable. Yeah. I didn't even remember that. I didn't even remember I did that. I mean, it was just every step of the way. Like I did. It was crazy. I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point. Newsletter, crazy. Apparel, all of this stuff. None of it existed. It was just all from Printful. I actually did buy a couple of these shirts for like I had this shirt. This shit ended up coming off, so I would don't wash your stuff if you if you buy from Printful. I have this hoodie. It's actually I think it still kind of works. It's a little ripped on the pocket part. I think I had the pants. I might have gotten rid of the pants. I have these shorts. Yeah, and then like I don't even didn't really sell much of this stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, but the point is that again, like you could do this. Like if you really wanted to do this, I would highly recommend. This is actually this part right here. If you're doing these print on demand things, it's actually kind of a really low barrier to get this to work, and it might teach you some things. But the big thing is that the quality is going to be lower because it's literally just like they're just printing this stuff on here and like there's just not a lot going. It's just not a lot, you know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of thought and like detail and anything going into these types of things. And that's just what it is. I don't know how else to really describe it. Don't expect this to be high quality stuff because it's just general merch. I even did like taxonomies for this stuff too, so is what it is. I can't remember the checkout experience. I feel like it was like half decent too, but I think everything's out of stock, so it's whatever. Community. So this is the last thing. Like mainly was like just like family, ambassadors, team members. I don't even know what any of this was. Yeah, I don't think I did anything. I wanted to have like this concept where like you could be an ambassador, you could be a team member, or you could be you could be like a part of the people, like really in like I don't know, like some sort of community. But still want to do all that. Again, these ideas have not fully died necessarily. They might not really take place in this realm anymore, but still want to do more of that, just in different ways and all that. So kind of interesting. Contact, it's a picture of me in front of a fence at my parents' house. And yeah, so I don't know. Just if you have any problems, order number that we never really even had any order numbers for, you could throw that in there. Yeah, it's just interesting. So I don't know. That was kind of the fun thing. The fun thing about all this. Do you also send some donations to free WordPress plugins used in projects? I don't know if I've ever done that, but I should probably start doing that. I actually want to start. I'm not building like a heavy volume of sites anymore, but I should probably send money via they're, I know it's like Fun WP is like kind of the thing that Andrew Palmer put together to kind of like say like, hey, here's an easy way to donate. I definitely want to do that more, so I should probably do that. The design is actually decent. I appreciate that, Toby. I think I stole a lot of this from like Shopify sites that I was like looking at the time. So yeah, appreciate that. All this stuff before the AI, you were doing great things. Yeah. No AI. This was before AI was a glimmer in the public eye. I think. Yeah, I don't know what this does. I don't think this does anything. Oh yeah, a little slide out cart. Yep. I don't even know how I did that. I don't know if that was. I don't know. It's probably some sort of weird thing. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Hope you enjoyed that walk down memory lane there. That was kind of interesting. But yeah, I wanted to do all that. Again, the podcast and everything like that. And it was fun, but it wasn't the best. If you guys want to see anything there, let me tell you, or I'll tell you about it. But other than that, I think that was kind of it. So hopefully that was at least entertaining. Hopefully there was some stuff to pull from there. And yeah, blog article. Appreciate that, Ann. Yeah, shoot that over to me, please. Do I still work with Ashley? I don't think I have worked with Ann Ashley. Yeah, probably I don't know if we want to keep people's identity. If you want to DM me or something, we could talk about that. But I don't think I work. I don't work with anybody right now. I work by myself, and then in this room, 24/7. And then yeah, I don't have an actual 9 to 5 job now. So, but I did work with Ann Ashley. Yeah, maybe don't dox her, but yeah, shoot me a DM or something. We could definitely talk about it. It's crazy if we got like people in circles, that'd be crazy. If we got people like overlapping in circles, that'd be wild. Okay, so where the hell are we now? All right, so I was doing that. I was doing my first paid website. I wish I had that. I don't have it. That would be a great thing. I wish I would have prepared that. I think it's like stuck in like a backup somewhere that I could probably pull out, but that would be a fun one for like a whole stream possibly, because that was a really, really bad thing. Or maybe just a video even. I don't know. But yeah, so did that. And then around this whole time, again, like I was saying, I was doing those podcasts and I'm doing this podcast with, again, my girlfriend at the time. This one we came up with called AM in the PM. Now, this website is actually like much more simple than that other one was, but it's very similar stuff. I mean, like it's a podcast. We had like some merch type stuff that nobody bought, and yeah, we had a really good time. It was like good for us. We had a fun time, whatever. But yeah, just like real quick, like on this one, latest episode, so that would always kind of populate there. We could view all episodes. Ask us anything. This was a cool concept I really enjoyed, like, but nobody ever did it. Like you could just ask an anonymous question and we would have answered it. That's a random cool idea that I think I had. This is the thing is, again, like there's so many little tiny things in here that could be implemented so many other places. But yeah. Okay, so where are we at here? Also, never not enter. Peter, appreciate you. Is she on the site? I'm not sure. Oh, if she was on the site, then okay, cool. But no, I don't think I work with her anymore. I think if we're talking about the same person, I don't know where that was, but if we're talking about the same person, I still know her. Why not get into programming? You have great business mindset. Imagine image plug. Yeah, I mean, real quick there, I went to the University of Pittsburgh. I started in computer engineering, moved to computer science, and then moved into information science. So like as far as coding background, I have like, HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. I used literally Java in those courses. And then even a little, very, very small amount of like, what is ASP.NET? Is that C# or C++? I can't remember, but I actually started there for like a little bit of small period of time because that's what my coworkers were using at the time to build like a full scale website business, like full scale like web system for the company we were at. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm down to go into that realm. I just feel like there's more things that I'm like, I feel like I've done so much stuff like in the trenches at this point that I need I normally get wrapped up in that, and then I can't get back to the surface of like actually selling. Like the thing that I've always been the worst at, just because I've prioritized it the least, is selling, but I actually am not bad at it when I focus on it. So that was a weird way of saying that, like, I feel like I'm best suited in the marketing and sales role, and I want to go more towards that route. And this is what I'm literally what I'm doing now. You guys watching the actual evolution of this happen. Like what I'm doing now is I'm trying to be much more of like a kind of like that figure, and then potentially build either like a team or just be much more efficient with the way that I do things. Cause I've learned how to not do shit. I've learned how to take ideas and execute on the ideas, but not sell them in any way. And I need to do that. I need to do more of that. I need to do it like better as far as like actually selling it. So, but yeah, it's an interesting proposition there. We'll see if I do more programming and such at some point. We'll see. But yeah, so we had some merch here and stuff like that. Again, this similar, again, I'm taking a lot of this from the other website because I was kind of doing them at the same time, but like there was, so I'm learning and implementing some new things. Want to be a guest on the show. I guess there was like, I don't know if this was just the main, yeah, this is the main content. I didn't put as much effort into this because this was more of a hobby. They were both hobbies because they weren't making any money, but this one was more of a hobby in my mind. The other one was more of like, this is a fun thing to do with my, girlfriend, wife now. And the other one was like, okay, I actually want this to turn into something. And then ultimately, life continues to happen and we do different things. So yeah, like just like more stuff about us. And then let's see what else we got here. Episodes, almost the same exact flow here. The last episode was me proposing to my now wife, literally like in our basement. It's weird, but she didn't know that. It was just a funny thing. But yeah, just like literally, again, these were 87 episodes, and a lot of them were, again, same thing, guys. Like, remember what I told you about all the other shit that I was doing? Remember all that? Double it, okay? Double the amount of work, all right? and I was doing it here, like on this one as well. Plus, for a very short period of time, because here's the thing: this is just a general media tip that I need to learn myself and actually take into full and actually like fully consume and understand and implement right now. Long form stuff, as you're seeing right now, is like, this is kind of engaging, right? If you know me, if you've seen my stuff or whatever, but nobody ever jumps into long form. Like, unless like one of the guests or something else, like people will watch long form shit, but generally the way to get them to watch long form, which is these are like hour plus, right? The problem with this is not only were we two random people just talking in a basement and in a shed, okay? Not just that. They were good topics. Like if you listen to these, you would probably be like, oh, that's kind of insightful, whatever. But the problem is there's so much information out there. You need short form content to reel in the people to watch the long form content. I knew that, okay? Because I was literally watching this happen in the larger media space, the larger independent media space with like, again, like the Joe Rogans and the Lex Friedmans. They would have the long form. And again, they were already an advantage because you knew what you were getting with them. But but the people that didn't know them, they understood that they needed to clip out 10, 15-minute clips and be like really specific on like what that topic was so people would watch that. I created clips channels for both of these, FBP and AM and the PM, and I started doing it very, very like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and I was like, now this is even more work. And if I would have kept doing that, I think it would have been the key. And it's what I need to do with this channel now too, because I love this long form stuff, but it's not going to actually attract anyone per se, unless the topic is particularly interesting. But my point is, like, that's another media tip for you, is like nobody jumps into the long form really. They just like, they end up being like, they just end up being like brought into it via short form in a lot of cases, from what I kind of can see and tell. Again, subscribe thing, same thing. Again, this is less in depth than the other one, but a lot of the same situations. We have some of these hats and stuff. Didn't really sell too much of this stuff, but again, same thing. Another experiment that was reasonable, worked out, but really love the process of building. I really love the process of like starting businesses. Like there may be a time where I'm like a startup consultant, but I don't. But the problem is like the word startup is ridiculous. What does that mean? Does that mean like somebody starting something in their basement where they can't afford that? Or does it mean like an actual funded startup? Like this, I don't know what this is. If somebody knows, tell me. But I love the idea of the structure of organizing the beginning of the business, getting not like actually building logos, but like getting everything consistent, the branding, the social medias, like all that sort of stuff. I did it 5 times, 6 times. I love that part. I don't know why. I just do. But then the next part is you actually have to start making money. And if you're not focused on that, then you're not going to have a business for very long anyway, and you just wasted your time. What else we got? Oh boy. Ha ha ha. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but that was probably, I'm assuming that was funny. Does Mark have an overbearing opinion? Tune in at 9. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of really good episodes in there. Yeah, if you guys want to go back and see how me and my wife talked 4 years ago, you can do that. It's wild. But yeah, so where are we at next here? So that was AM and the PM, right? Which again, I don't know why the fuck I named it. We named it. It's just like Amanda and Mark in the PM. I don't know. It was a weird name, but made that logo in Canva. That was fun times. Where are we? New era, fueled by progress. We talked about that. Moved the podcast in the shed. You saw some of those. First order via the Find a Tech portal was in 2020. So again, it's all such a blur. I feel like I had that idea for that portal, and I love that. I love that idea. And if you haven't seen it, just go to, I think, is it wpclientportal.co? Pretty sure. It's on the channel. But go check that out. I know some of you guys are here from that. Maybe not watching right now, but I know you guys appreciate all the love on that one. But yeah, it was that was a fun and interesting project. I love that. I think it's really good if you're gonna do it long term, because it's a real cool way to like have everything like in like one place. But that was the first time we did that. I was on a nonprofit board because I also did the website for the nonprofit called Cardiac Aware. I was on a nonprofit for a little bit. I trademarked Fueled by Progress. So I actually have like a literal piece of paper, and it's on the USPTO website, Fueled by Progress, that we own. We own that. In like different categories, spent like $1,500 or something in like 6 different categories or whatever the hell. And obviously we're not really utilizing that at all, but I have it, so that's cool. And last episode, you saw that of AM and the PM. I was in a mastermind group here in Pittsburgh for a little bit. Resigned from that board. And then was there anything else here? So this is actually right here. This is a fun one, and then we'll dive into the one that maybe you guys care the most about. Is right here. Is where you guys probably started hearing who I was. So in December of last year, which is less than a year, which is kind of actually outrageous how quickly all this has happened. I started like consciously making like WordPress content on my personal channels. And I'm going to give you guys, because you guys are so great to be here live, I'm going to give you guys, I just had deja vu for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going to give you guys the inside baseball, something I've maybe said this before, but I can't remember when I said it. When I was doing that, right around that December timeline, when I was like, I remember starting to watch like guys like Kevin Geary, guys like Brendan O'Connell, on like the bricks realm, because like I'd watched like WP Toots and WP Crafter in the past, but then I was like building websites and doing all that stupid shit that you just saw. And then I was like, okay, now I need to get back into actually building websites and potentially building up like the business, or like seeing where I want to go. And I had a lot of thoughts and ideas. So not just on business, mainly on the website stuff, because like I just saw so many like weird like WordPress like videos and just stuff like that. I'm like, why are people doing like that? Whatever. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna start doing that. And I was like watching, and I was like, also at the same time, Elementor was right in the spot where it was kind of limiting me. There was that lull where like I think Ben Pines left, and I don't know if that was the real reason, but like it just seemed like it was kind of lull-ish for a while, right? So I was like, I need to spice it up. So then I started watching, Bricks content and things, and eventually went that way. There was a period, and you can ask my colleague CT Cope about this, because we've been talking at least once a week for 2 or 3 years now, also a web designer. There was a period in time when I was specifically talking to him before I like more broke into like the WordPress community space. I was like, you know what? I want to do this. But I was in a spot where I had videos on the Find It Tech channel, and there were some people that were subscribed to that. And if any of you ever watch this, I appreciate you. but it was just like random videos about like stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want to make these videos here because if I'm building websites for my clients under the brand Find It Tech, and I'm talking about how to build websites, I just would rather not build. I would not. I don't. It's a branding thing for me. I don't want to put that there because I just feel like it doesn't make perfect sense with who I am. It does for other people, not for me. It's like if I was going to put something there, I wouldn't want to put not how to build websites, but why you should have a website or what you can do to like make your website a little bit better, but like less technical, right? More marketing, more business, less technical in a way over there. And that was just my thought at the time. I was like, all right, I have that channel. I have like this personal channel that I had some other random stuff on. And I'm like, I'm going to make a third channel and it's going to be called MJSWP. And I had like the branding. I was going to do like a green theme. I am so glad I didn't do that. But I'm telling you guys that is the one other thing that you could like roll back that the tombstone and look in there would be that thing. Cause that was like a 2-week thought process. I was like, no, I'm just going to do this on my personal thing because then people will know that it's like me and just be like, hey, Mark makes YouTube videos or Toby makes YouTube videos or Brennan makes YouTube. I'm not even kidding you. Like I actually watched and I like observed for 2 weeks what everyone else was doing. I was like, oh, Kevin Geary changed his shit from Digital Ambition to Kevin Geary. Jonathan Jernigan changed his shit from Permaslug to Jonathan Jernigan. I'm seeing a pattern here. And also you could just look outside of it and you'd be like Alex Hormozy, Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Like all those types of things. And I was just like, no, we're just going to do the personal thing. So if I had to give you another thing to consider, it would be that. I really think that's the way to go. There are some people it works for because they've developed a brand around it. But if it's going to be you, if you're going to do this all the time, you know what I mean? Like if it's going to be you and you don't have a problem with people knowing your name, I love that route. And I'm happy I went that route. So that was a little side note there, but that was how we probably met to some degree. So it's nice to meet you guys. And then anything else? First paid consulting call, sold our largest web project earlier this year and everything like that. So yeah. So now where we're kind of at is like all of this kind of has come together. I did all this weird stuff. And again, I don't think I said this at the top, but I most of these things are probably going to kind of get archived. Like those aren't active anymore. So I wanted to like make this stream to document what those websites were. I'm going to back them up and I'm probably going to like take them like down, so to speak, because I started all this by going through GridPane and my servers and everything. Like I just don't want stuff. I don't care if it's out there. I don't want to manage literally this install of WordPress. And I could probably put it on like a static site maybe or something like that, but I don't want to manage this install of WordPress. We've had so many issues, right? And this stemmed ultimately from this bullshit drama where like fucking ACF free doesn't update anymore now. So I have to, and I know there's ways around it, but like, I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. I already have enough to worry about. So I don't want to worry about those types of things, potentially like this getting some sort of like infection or whatever, or just hacked or, you know, whatever, any sort of malware, anything like that for like any security things that I'm not maintaining. I do have auto updates for some things, but again, I just want to simplify my life. So I'm probably going to take it back, document all of it like this. And then some of it will come back, but it's going to be gone probably. So you're probably seeing it kind of for the last ish time for a certain period of time. So that's kind of the concept there. What else we got here? Except the long form content is actually lots of short form merged together, like 30 tips on what we're doing, and each tip would be a few minutes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the long form content is where the real value like ultimately is, but the short form content is just kind of the hook a lot of times to get them in there. If you love doing long form content, if you love doing short form content, then it works. So, do I still do business? Do you still do business with nonprofits? I mean, I do have at least one nonprofit client right now. I don't know how to say. I do business with anybody that's willing to pay me what I'm worth. I feel like is one good way to do it. I'm also in this spot now where like I'm kind of doing client work and kind of doing content sponsorship type work. So it's a weird mixture. And we're about to talk about like the whole Find a Tech, which is the agency thing. So we can talk more about that. 100%. As soon as I switched from biz name to my personal name, I got more subs and people contacting me and made thousands of dollars doing work for them. See, like that's a great case study right there that Brennan just said, is because I just think that I really do think that that is the key in like marketing to some extent. Like you look at like a McDonald's, a MasterCard, a whatever, like a Ford, like whatever, like those brands, like those brands, but they're so like they're faceless, like in a lot of ways, right? You just know the logo, and they're some of them are timeless, so to speak, but you don't know anybody. Maybe you know founders for certain ones, but you don't know anything about them. There's no human to human. The human to human is huge when you're small. Like it is huge. Like you have to be able to be like, oh, this person's YouTube channel helped me. This person's community helped me. Like that is, I think that's like absolutely paramount. And that's what I learned from, again, guys like Brennan and everyone else. So I would say that's an interesting thought. Good points on your name for your channel, and I completely agree. It gives a very personal feeling. Yeah. Yep. Hell yeah. I've gotten too many emails since I started the channel. It's overwhelming. Yeah, and again, like Toby, I mean, we could talk separately outside of this or whatever, but I'll talk in general. Like that's the other thing too, is once you start putting yourself out there and your name out there, you're going to get a lot of, when you do really good content too, like you're going to get you're going to get like inundated with things. You guys, yeah, I mean, if any of you are, if you're not in the content game, okay, like if you're kind of more if you're like thinking about consuming and creating, I was like heavy consuming. Then I started creating a little bit, but none of it was like you saw it. None of it was. I was heavy creating because I was tired of just consuming, but none of it was like niched. None of it niched at all. I don't mean like specifically like down to the thing, but none of it like it's just shotgun approach, like the fueled by progress thing, the AM and the PM thing, right? So then once I got to and then even like my personal stuff like on the channel before was like just like stuff when we like redid this house and shit, just so I could document it. I wasn't trying to become a home improvement channel, but just so I could do that, right? But then once I started like talking specifically more about like the stuff that we talk about now, right? Like the WordPress stuff and digital marketing, all that, whatever. Then it was like, okay, now somebody can associate your name with at least like a couple of topics or whatever. And then the weird thing that happens is that they associate you with a niche, but because it's a name, it starts to become more of a relationship with like two people that just know you. Like it's like more of a friendship in a lot of ways, right? And if you set it up that way, then it's like, then you could go out, then it's like, it's the weirdest thing. You would think that, oh, I want to talk to everybody about everything, so I need to talk to everybody about everything. It's not really like that. And I had to learn this because I didn't understand it. You talk to somebody about one specific thing, and then just because you're two humans, you're going to eventually talk about everything. Like that's kind of how it's going to work if you want it to go that route, so to speak, right? So that's a really weird thing that I learned because it seems counterintuitive, but it ultimately really makes sense when you actually see it play out. So there was a broader point that I wanted to put in there, and that was a slightly aside. But the thing about the emails that Toby brought up is that once you get more into the content space, you realize that there's actually way less people making content than consuming it, even though it feels like there's not a lot of people consuming it sometimes if you don't get like a lot of views and shit. But the thing is that I feel like a lot of us started building websites and then we started creating content, right? This is exactly what I'm about to tell you right now, is that's how it goes. When you get to that other side and you're making content, it's a new business. Like this is the one thing, like I made some mistakes along the way, like, or not mistakes, but like I made some like wasted time and stuff. But the thing that I don't regret doing is separating like Samansky Media and like Find a Tech. They're two different things. You don't have to do it like this, but to me, they're two different things. Find a Tech builds websites and does digital marketing for other businesses. Samansky Media is everything that I do personally, or maybe a team would do at some point, that is like any sort of affiliate marketing, any sort of personal branding, sponsorship stuff, any sort of content stuff. And that's all because I did it as a personal brand. It could have been a different name, but that's my thought process there. And you don't necessarily have to separate them. Again, this isn't legal advice, but in my mind, to compartmentalize them like that, they are two different endeavors. And if I ever wanted to scale Find a Tech and sell it, then boom, it's clean. I sell that and it's gone. And now I still have all my other stuff rather than doing it all through one thing. And again, I didn't make any of this shit up, okay? I saw other people doing it and I tried to do it with my own flavor of it, but that's how I got to this, like this apparatus of my own here, so to speak, is that's what I decided to do, and that's how I kind of came through it. So yeah, yeah. I'm getting too much value here. Toby, you're the man. Erica, what's up? Hi, Mark. I thought about starting a YouTube channel for a long time, but I'm such an introvert. I think I would struggle with it. I always wondered how much it would help my business, though. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I feel like all of us are introverted to a level, because we're a lot of times I feel like maybe sitting in our like offices or whatever, just like staring at our computers and doing that sort of stuff. So I totally get that. My opinion on this has changed. I don't know if like a YouTube channel specifically is for everyone, but I would absolutely encourage everyone to try it. Like if you've had the idea to do it, then I would absolutely say do it. You know what I mean? Also, like you're in the community already. Like there's definitely people that would back you right away. You know what I mean? Like they would like encouraging, and generally the community is pretty good anyway. And it just like, so I think that there would be a lot there. If I was like given again the recommendations, I would say just use the name, don't overcomplicate that. I would just say do as make the production and those types of things. This is for anybody too that wants to start a YouTube channel. Like just do it. Like just do it. Don't make the same mistakes as I made earlier with all these other things and like build out like full apparatuses for everything like that. Like just make the content, make it half decent from a production standpoint, like get like a half decent camera and maybe a light, because lighting is like unbelievably impactful. This light up here just like changes the way this whole thing looks. I could turn it off and show you how bad it looks. It's just do that and make sure you sound like half decent, right? And then just talk. I don't edit barely anything, guys. Like, you know me, like I just talk. And maybe that's a skill set people have and don't have or whatever, but I would say try it and see where it goes. Like just say you're going to try it for like 3 months, 6 months or something like that. And just be routine about it. And the one other thing I would say is, cause it's kind of sounds like it's helping your business. I would be that's the only thing that I would give like maybe a day's worth of thought on, like a full day. Going back to what I just said, if your goal with your channel is to make more websites, like to get more website clients, make sure you are talking directly to those people. Honestly, that wasn't really my goal. So the shit that I talk about really isn't actually directed towards those people, which again, it's just my personal decision. But if you want to make more websites, like honest to God, if you were going to do something, I don't know if you guys have seen one of the best, I haven't seen all of them, but one of the best examples I've seen of that model is Wes McDowell. If you don't know Wes McDowell, go look him up on YouTube, because he has built like an amazing way of like basically putting out content and saying, hey, I'm paraphrasing, your website like isn't good because of this, or here's ways to improve your website. He's not saying like technically necessarily a lot of times how to do it. It's so like theory, right? But it's good. It's like good stuff. It's like we would look at it and be like, okay, that makes sense. Maybe we disagree with some stuff, but it makes sense. But the people that watch that are people like business owners that are like, how do I make why is my stuff not working? And they just like type into Google or whatever, and they find that. And then his CTA, I've studied this, okay? His CTA isn't let me build you a website. It's let me help you help yourself build a website. And he's got like a community and a course on like how to build websites with Elementor. So all I'm saying is like, if you're actually serious about that, go look at what a couple other people are doing and see the ones that are making waves, or at least like seem like they're having success, and then see which one aligns with what you actually want to do or what you think you want to do, because it might change. And then try it like that. Like just steal it. Don't steal this content. I'm saying like steal the model and then see what happens. Because there's just this is the stuff that like I feel like was going over my head for a long time, goes over other people's heads. It's like there's little nuances to this shit. And sometimes when we oversimplify, because we're human and we like to do that, you don't get, you like try it and you're like, why isn't this working? It's like, cause there's a nuance there that's missed. And it's like, you have to make sure the content doesn't need to be like perfect. It just needs to kind of like literally be like, you're sitting across the table from somebody that like is a business owner and you're just trying to help them out. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's the content. If that's the person you want to do business with, that's the type of content you have to do. So yeah. Oh man. Hopefully that helped. I don't know. We'll see. Yes, it's usually that way. Plus, making content is so stressful. We make it look easy with how much content you put on. Toby, I appreciate that, brother. I could not do what you do. The quality on the videos that you're putting out right now with the tutorial stuff is chef's kiss. I just turn the camera on and I just go live because I like going live because there's no editing. But I appreciate that. Yeah, 100%, Erica. Just do it. 100%, 100%. Brandon's got it. I thought it wasn't that difficult watching you. Then I started. Oops, 5 videos later, my headaches. I mean, again, if you're doing the big long form stuff, there is a lot there. I would definitely just tell you continue to do that, and people are going to continue to reach out to you, and make some money from that. Like, don't like again, you don't have to just do content just to make money on the end of it. You can make money on the front end of it too. Like you don't just have to like don't just think the content thing is a charity. Like you know how much, and I'm not talking specifically Utopia, I'm talking everyone. Like you know how much time and energy this shit takes. Like even if you just go live, I still had to do a little prep work. I gotta be on here for a while. Like if you're gonna make videos and stuff, like and you're gonna show off products, those products are gonna make money at minimum. Obviously, like affiliate and things like that, for sure you can do that. But you can do sponsorships. I'm wading into those waters literally as we speak. So, don't sacrifice your ethics, but it's definitely something to consistently be thinking about. Peter here, introverts thrive in these kinds of environments. You control the time in the process, do your own time and energy. Lots of online presenters are introverts. Yeah, definitely. And again, it's a little different than public speaking. You're just looking at a camera. You know what I mean? You can't even. I know you guys. I know you guys are here, but it's not like you're like actually staring at me. It's kind of cool, kind of fun. I've got one here from Erica to Brennan. Seems like most people in this industry are introverted. How do you feel? How do you talk to nobody that I feed off others' energy? It would be so hard to talk to a camera. I mean, that it definitely is. Just if I could chime in on that, it definitely does seem a little. It's a little weird at first because you are just talking to a camera, and if you don't have like people in the comments and stuff like that, it's rough. Maybe what I would say is do some like if I was again just strategizing from like ground zero, like do some videos to get a little bit of an audience perhaps, and then jump into the live thing. You could still jump into the live thing. Like it's easier when you have comments. Sure. I mean, I try to read everyone's comment, like, cause it's great. Cause I feel like I'm having a conversation with everybody. But I understand that. But I think it just kind of does come with time though, too. Like the more as you kind of build a little bit and people want to watch your stuff and like your live content, especially if that's where you end up going, I would say it gets easier, can I just talk to you right now? Howard. Yeah, you can talk to me anytime, bro. All right, I remember this book by Susan Cain, Quiet the Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. Yeah. 100%. I've never read that book. I'll put that on the list though, but that sounds like it makes total sense. Anne is look at that, Eric. Anne is offering to be on your other screen as you record. Love that. Love that. Erica, you started a channel. Yeah, Erica, I think everybody's down here. Everybody wants to see you do it. I think you gotta try it. If you want to try it, I would say try it. The reason is no one asks a person with teaches others, can you do this? They just give you the job. Can you end up controlling how much clients take? Yeah. I mean, that's another thing too, is like, I would just, again, harken back to the thing is like, make sure, if you're going to do it, make sure that you know what your goal is. You know what I mean? And again, it could change, but at least like at right now, if you don't want to be like a content creator, so to speak, which I will tell you though, that might end up happening. If you don't want to do that, if you want to, I'll try to give another good example. If you want to create content, the Wes McDowell one's a good one. Again, honestly, Mark and Barbara at Wiki Design are another good one. I've talked to them extensively because they've been in the game for a very long time, and they put up, a ton of videos. And they tell me all the time, it's like our biggest thing is we put up these videos, and it's like clients, small businesses and stuff that maybe like have started and they're trying to learn how to do something or understand why something doesn't work. They find our videos and they're like, oh, well, let's just hire Mark and Barbara at Wiki Design. So another good one. You guys probably know them though, but another good idea. Best advice I ever got about presenting the audience does not know what you plan to tell them after I was upset. Yeah, 100%. Exactly. Progress over perfection, for sure. Faux show. Brendan started because there weren't tutorials on the stuff I wanted to, and I just started people sub and reach out in my biz. Yeah, 100% there too. If you see any sort of a, why am I blanking right now? Like a gap in the content, 100%. My original idea was to create a channel that was geared more towards other women that are interested in development. Yeah, it's a huge gap, I feel like, in the market, 100%. I know you'd have a ton of people behind you on that too. None of what happened if I don't hit the record button. Qualities, whatever. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, don't overthink the quality. I don't know if I came across like that. Don't overthink it. Just make sure that it's consumable. It can always get better. I see so many people struggle with learning, and I'd like to see more women on YouTube in this industry. No offense. Yeah, no, for sure. Faux show. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think we are all behind you, Erica, 100%. Be a great niche. Did I see you and a few other women started Discord? Yeah, that's dope. I think I did see about that Discord. Did I see that? Yeah, dope. Got 30 in there. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm loving this, guys. I'm loving this. Okay, so we can kind of start to wrap this up here with some of this other stuff. All right, so with all that said and the content, everything like that, where were we? I started this Find a Tech business, right? And this is probably, I want to say this is maybe like the third iteration of this website. I probably should have had the other one, but I don't. So, oh well. They're probably somewhere in a backup or whatever. But anyway, so this is like findatech.com. This is like the agency side of things. And again, like, you know, if we look at like Mark, like this is again, I love this. I love this. I literally love this topic that we've been talking about this whole time. I'm glad we have like other people like interested in content here, because this is literally the visualization for what I'm talking about is this. If you're going here, you want a website. If you're going here, you're a professional perhaps that like wants to learn more about the tools, or you're somebody that's like closer to doing this yourself, so to speak. That's just kind of the overall thing. Obviously, this is also my personal brand, so there's like maybe some other things like kind of slightly mixed in, but like that's the concept, okay? Now, if we're over here, this website is actively getting redone because I'm in this position now where like I have clients. I don't love the idea of building websites as a one-man band, which I pretty much have done. I would have to either scale the team or just not really do this. And I'm not really interested in like per se in like managing it. So the scaling the team thing is kind of like in limbo. I feel like I'm better at like, we'll just say this than I am at this. And it's more interesting. You know, the other one's more interesting. So the concept here is that I'm rebuilding this, but I'm going to show you where it is currently, because I do think there are some good ideas, and this one might actually hit directly towards like what a lot of us do here. And maybe you take some of the way, maybe you don't. But it's going to be the new version of it. And when it's done, I'll show you. But the new version of it is just going to be like much less kind of like about me, so to speak. I mean, I'll have a little bit about me or whatever, but it like, I just want to simplify it because again, I did the same thing here, but this is the main business that was like actually making money. So it's actually kind of like a counter thing. It's like I was making money through Find a Tech, and I did build up like some recurring revenue and things like that. But at the same time, the processes were decent, but I was always trying to refine them, and it didn't get to the point where it was like super scalable. Like you could, if I look back now and I look at other examples of like web design, you could make a really, really, really good scalable business if you don't give a shit about what you're doing. And I don't mean like it would be a bad thing. It's like I wanted to make, you could see from the headline, I wanted to make custom WordPress websites that make an impact or whatever the hell. Like I didn't want to just churn out like small sites. But honestly, if I'm going back at it, that might be one of the routes that I would have taken, because the custom stuff just takes so much time and energy and planning. And when you're one person, now you have like, maybe you have a $15,000, $12,000 website or whatever. It's going to take multiple months, and you're like in that website, like almost like fully, you know what I mean? Like you're thinking about it almost all the time, because you guys know how dealing with clients is. Like it's back and forth and just so much stuff. So just something I would consider. One thing I'll say right now off the top, because I don't think it's on here, is like a 1-day concept of a website. Just like turn it around in like 1 day. It doesn't have to be expensive, but there's a lot of people out there that need that. And this is again nuanced discussion, because a lot of people are, you know, you think like smaller denominations of you know, work, like smaller price tags on work end up with like potentially shittier clients and things. There's some credence to that, but it's like, it's all what kind of business you want to do. And there's so many good ones out there now to just take the model from and try to do it yourself. So I don't know, just a lot of different things. So yeah. Let me see here, a couple comments, then we'll dive in. I've thought about regularly posting to my YouTube channel, but I suffer from imposter syndrome, I guess, even though I have extensive experience and a professor, so I can't teach. Yeah, Steve, again, man, the stuff that we talk about in the meetup groups and everything like that, I would 100% encourage you to do it. I would just press record, press upload. Again, like just the first ones, everybody says like the first 100 or whatever are going to suck. And it's like, they're going to suck in a way that is relative to the next 100. You know what I mean? So I would just do it. Once you get like into a flow too, not even from a consistency standpoint, but from like a comfortability standpoint, it goes fast. Like I'm not saying the growth necessarily, because there's a lot more things that affect that, but from the comfortability of being behind, like in front of the camera and putting the stuff on the internet, that part I think does go fast. Toby says, I'm super introverted. That's why I don't show my face, but I have a great camera. Turn the camera on. I love it, Toby. I love it. Yep. Brennan's with you, Steve. Badass, dude. Sorry for not being so active today in chat, working at the same time. Hey, I appreciate you being here, skating choreographer. Appreciate you. Always good to see you. Anything else here? Imagine setting up a YouTube channel in your home and ending up deciding not to show your face in your videos. How introverted you can be. It's a process too. It always evolves. Yeah. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to. I think it adds to it because people, again, can get that, instead of just seeing the profile picture, they can actually see, like you. And it becomes more of like a conversation, but you don't have to. And you could always like change down the line too. So yeah. All right, let's dive into this. So this is kind of where it's at right now. Like I said, it's going to change. The concept is just pretty much stuff that you've already seen in some ways, shapes, or forms, but about services, work, that type of thing. I'll try to drop some little bits of knowledge. And I'll tell you the stuff I hate too. I don't really like having this founder thing here. This is literally taken in my pictures taken in my my bedroom when I was back at my parents' house. So not the greatest look. I don't really think I've gotten too many like leads from this website either, so it's not really that big of a deal. But I do like this concept though. I love this concept of like almost like a personal note, like sign. It looks kind of cool. Like I love that concept, just not necessarily the way this is all laid out. Services has always been a struggle for me because I want to, if I'm in this realm of digital marketing and web design, like I feel like you have to a certain degree, go bigger. And I'll explain what I mean by that, but I feel like you have to go bigger as far as like not just designing and developing and supporting, but like I've always found it difficult to have put somebody on support and not give them like, some level of SEO or something to drive the ROI. If they don't drive the ROI, then it's like it's always become a hard sell kind of for me. Not just a hard sell, but they're always looking for that. Like as a good business owner, you're always looking for how to increase your ROI. It's like a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, get SEO, get pay-per-click, whatever. And then a good business owner would go to their person that is in that realm that they already have on staff, like me at a Find a Tech, and they'd be like, hey, do you do SEO? Do you do pay-per-click? A lot of times they end up not doing that from my experience, but they should, because that would be the first place I would look. And if you don't say yes to that question, then it's like, Now they're going to have to go somewhere else. Now you're going to have to bring in a third-party contractor, and we all know how difficult that could be depending on the quality of that third-party contractor. And then a lot of those places actually do it the opposite. They go SEO, right? No shade if you're doing this. I'm just saying a lot of them say like, we're an SEO place that also does websites. And it's like, I hope the websites are good. You know what I mean? Like I hope, so it's an interesting spot there. We'll talk about this more. Some of our work, so those case studies, there used to be like I used to have a whole layout here, but I just didn't really do it. I'm not even sure if this, no, okay, it probably does work. Don't know what's going on down here with this thing, but this is just like, like probably bad accessibility with this is, with this little slider thing here, just like auto imported directly from, I think that's Trust Index. Yeah. And then let's talk. Let's talk. Cool. So my account will take you directly to the portal. Press. I don't even know. Yeah, actually, I think this is a press page. I think every website should have a press page or like a brand assets page, because a lot of times people want this stuff. They want to know this stuff, especially if you have a weird spelling like this, pronunciation. I don't know if you probably couldn't hear that, but like another thing like that. Easy way to download logos, brand colors. I made a whole video on that. Just like, I think it's really important to have a place where people can get your stuff. I think that's really, really a nice touch. Why choose Find a Tech? Again, this is bad. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Maybe here more on this. But I love this concept. Stole this concept directly from Valuetainment. If you guys have ever seen that, I just saw it on their website. It's like Valuetainment, so it's obviously like value, like education and whatever, and then tainment is like somewhat entertaining. Still stupid, because we don't find it is like find it within yourself. I don't know if you know why I named this business like this. I hate this name, but find it within yourself to consistently improve technology that separates good businesses from great businesses, and then LLCs, because we're committed to professionalism. I like the concept. I don't like the way that it turned out here. Also hate the name. Again, if we go back to naming recommendations, probably don't put like Find It was like a weird way of me, because like it was Find It again is, you can kind of see why I would say that or think that, but like Find It with capitalization like this makes it seem like this is an information technology company, which like at the time when I was like 22 or whatever, 23, whatever, like, okay, kind of whatever made sense, but doesn't really. And then tech is kind of redundant. So I don't know, just wouldn't name your business like that. I wanted to do some stuff here, like why we build and what you should expect. I don't even know what these things say. I just want, over time, this is also like styled. I don't know what happened here, some sort of bug. But the thing with this stuff is, again, something that I would recommend doing is like telling people why you started or what your passion is, kind of, again, your mission, but really like be much more transparent and like really like what you should expect. I'm not saying this is a great way to do this, but like complete transparency, a website that your customers will enjoy using or whatever, and competent professional service delivered in a relatable. Like this stuff is good. I'm not saying it's good in the form, but I would highly recommend that you're very upfront and straightforward with your clients. I think that has helped me. Yeah. And like, and you can kind of read into some of this where it's like, we believe your website can and should be much more than a list of services in a contact form. Like there was a time I was really like heavily jaded into that. And now I've kind of like changed a little bit, because I realized that you can make, decent money from just like getting people started, so to speak. But the reason I put this here is because I genuinely would much rather build a website that has tons of custom post types, tons of relationships, tons of like functionality built into it than just those ones. And I still would rather do that. Again, though, the problem is it is very difficult to manage and complete those level of projects by yourself, or even potentially with a small team at the scale that you would need to do, I feel like, to kind of do that. I know there's people doing it, but it's just tougher. If you were just banging out like simple websites in like a week, you know what I mean, and still charging a few grand, maybe it's a better way. So that's just something that I would consider thinking about. A couple comments in here. Mark Smancy. So are you going the one-day website route or custom websites? So that's a good question. Personally, I'll tell you guys directly, I am not actively really seeking more client work. I have some recurring revenue that people, like clients on like website care plans that like I manage and everything like that. But pretty much, if I had to describe this, and this kind of goes to Erica's questions here, where do I get most of my leads from? I would kind of say that it is migrated heavily towards just referral. Like there's ways that I could get more leads, but I don't know if I've gotten a single lead from all the stuff that you guys have seen for web design. Now it's probably because of the type of content that I put out, for sure. But I'm saying, like, if you guys are putting out maybe tutorial content, maybe it makes more sense, or maybe there's a higher likelihood that you're going to get more leads. But I don't think I've gotten one singular actual good lead for somebody saying, "Hey, Mark, I've seen your website stuff," or I'm sorry, I've seen your YouTube content. Do you build websites, right? Can you build me a website? Maybe like one or two, but like they didn't match, they didn't mesh. And again, that's actually slightly by design, because like nobody would really
not like it's hidden, but nobody would directly know that my online presence on YouTube, with the exception of like this line down here, hire my digital agency, like nobody would really know that like I build websites. Like I'm not saying that. I'm more like kind of playing more of the content game, which may or may not be what you want to do. So to try to put that hat on, if I wanted more leads and I wanted to do this, it's experimental because nobody knows, like nobody just flips a switch. What has worked for me and what I would absolutely lean into is referral. Like everybody loves, right? Everybody loves when you, and maybe some of you haven't experienced this, but everybody loves when you make a video on like a Crock-a-Block or an ACSS or whatever, and you put this time into this video and you just tell people what you already do, right? You say like, here's a tutorial on how to do XYZ. You put that YouTube video up there, and in the description you say, and in the video you're like, hey, if you want to check out ACSS or whatever the XYZ, there's an affiliate link in the description below. If you use it, it'll help support the channel. Thanks. This is not, maybe you haven't done it, but you've definitely consumed it, right? Everybody loves when you make one video like that, as an example. I'm not saying this just happens, but if you make a video like that and then you get paid because people watched your thing, appreciated it, and clicked in the description and then bought the thing, right? It's called affiliate marketing. Everybody loves that. Like, well, some people hate it, but I'm saying like everybody that does that, it appreciates that. Like it's a cool way to get paid. I didn't get paid to make the video. I get paid when people buy the thing because they appreciate it and they want to try, right? So why am I saying all that? I'm saying all that because I created the same system, not super scaled, but I created the same system for Find a Tech. And what I mean is that I found like an IT team or, or even like other like verticals or anything like that, or even other agencies. And I said, hey, listen, if you send me leads and I close those leads and I make money, I will give you 10% for the first year of all the money that I make from them. Make up the numbers however you want. I don't care. Make sure they work for you. But I'm saying like I hate this idea of like thinking that leads are always going to be free or they're going to be easy to attain. The biggest thing is like everybody wants, extremely warm leads and they want them real easy. I'm not saying anybody specifically. I'm just saying in general, like we all want that, but I was never able to do that. Like you could try pay per click, you could try like Facebook ads, you could try whatever. I just don't know who's going to click on that. Like, I don't know who's going to actually be like, oh, there's a website person, click on that. And it's like, what's the quality of that person that's clicking on it? I just think that if you could find people that are much more integrated into the tech space kind of like already and have clients that you might need, then that's the way to do it. I'll give you one more because I actually may end up doing this more. Not just people in similar verticals like IT professionals and like lawyers or whatever. Like not just those people, okay? Your clients. Turn your current clients or your past clients into affiliates. I guarantee you they would refer people to you. If you had a good experience with somebody, why wouldn't you say, hey, leave us a review? And by the way, if you leave us a review, you can become an affiliate for our brand and make money when somebody like refers us to you. Like think about how much money you might be charging, how much money they might make. It might not work in every case because sometimes like the people you're dealing with, the businesses you're dealing with might not care about like a couple extra bucks. But especially if you're dealing with like small businesses, I would take a couple extra bucks for just like introducing somebody. Okay. This is the thing where we were talking about a little bit earlier. It's not even upfront advertising, paid advertising. It's on the back end. It's no risk. It's no risk to anyone. It's if I make money, you make money. Affiliate. I like that model. Other people might not. That's totally fine. But that's something that I would kind of consider it. Toby says, I'm very surprised by that, Mark. Surprised that people don't contact you from the channel. Why is it different for Brennan and me? I mean, I would say it's probably you guys are much better and much more focused on like tutorial good content than I am. I'm like, there was a large period in time where I was talking about WordPress, which nobody like cares about, so to speak, like other than, maybe like us, right? So like the prospects aren't going to care about that. And the types of tutorials that I've ever done were, I don't think I did them in enough volume, and I don't think I did it in There's probably something else that I'm missing too. I don't know, but I never, honestly, I never like even tried to manifest it. So I'm very happy for you guys that's the case. I just don't know. I don't really have a great answer. I'd have to look at my archive and kind of see like what the deal was there. But yeah, not sure. Totally. I'm okay with it though, to be honest. Getting leads is the most difficult task. I've been doing this for almost 13 years. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. Definitely not easy. Me focused on good content, Brendan. You're a boss, dude. You're the API guy. You're the toddle king. We're gonna React now. This guy's gonna be dropping React content next week. I'm sure. He's gonna be the React king. He going crazy. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that riff there. Yeah, so this is like kind of just the about page, kind of clients. I really like the concept of like having like a clients page, kind of like a wall of fame sort of or something like that. Again, this is like a custom post type thing. Maybe do a little bit more. You don't have to do clients. You could just do like case studies, but if you have big clients, like people, anybody would actually know, right? Like the only ones that anybody would actually know here are probably like Jerome Bettis's like nonprofit. So, maybe. But other than that, like it'd be really good if you like start dealing with big brands to like show that off. That's probably better on the homepage though. And then partners. So this, I'm going to give you guys again, inside baseball. The whole stream is inside baseball, but this right here, I would recommend doing something like this, but for you guys that like are interested in the content, this is where it starts to overlap a little bit. And this is honestly, as I was building these types of pages, was when I was like, I need to just do this a little differently. Do it, but do it a little differently. Your partners are really, it's a really cool idea to be like, okay, this is my agency and these are the people I partner with, or these are the companies I partner with or whatever. I literally like put all of these in here because like I used these tools. And because I think for some of them at least, I'm not sure if these are probably going to like affiliate links, but like these are the tools that we use. They're the tools that we trust, and they're the tools that we're partnered or affiliated with. And then you could facet them or whatever, right? Like however you want or whatever. And then you could also have like a CTA down here where it's like interested in becoming a partner, and then they could do this. Again, I don't know if anybody ever actually filled this out, and the design is ass. I'm not sure why this is out like this, but the point is like, what do you charge? Like the concept here would be like if you were doing this, actually, let me go back to what I was just saying. This right here would be kind of how I would position a affiliate situation, right? So if you had like an agency that, for instance, like if you had like agencies here, right, whatever, and you wanted to say to people, hey, agency XYZ or IT company, whatever, like you could put like other something here. You'd be like, these are your partners, right? If you want to partner, you don't have to put them on the front part if you want, but like just a form like this, a page like this, where it's like to try to grab, like become a partner, become an affiliate or referral partner or whatever. And you have that in here and you're like, hey, listen, have you worked with us or do you know us or whatever? It's people that you have relationships with, and you just gather that like this. And then if it's me, I'm gonna set it up with like a SureCart or an affiliate WP, so it's all like I'm not like literally hand calculating like how much I owe people and stuff like that. But my point is that concept could be very beneficial for you getting more leads. There's probably a good chance that you have clients in the past and you have other people that you just know in real life that would be willing to send you leads. They're probably already willing to send you leads if they know people without getting paid. They're probably gonna be way more likely to give you lead opportunities if they are getting something out of it. I hate this idea of doing things like on the love. Like we all have to make money, we all have to do things, and it's like this is like no risk to anyone. So again, and we're not like shilling garbage here. It's like you provide a good service. All I'm trying to do is connect with more people. If you'd like to do that, if you'd like to help me, whatever, that's how you would pitch it in my mind. Just tell people about my business and introduce me to them, and then you will get paid. And if on the back end, last thing I'll say is you make sure that the numbers do work. So like if you give somebody like 10% or whatever, make sure that you're charging appropriately so you can take that 10% off of we're not getting into a deep business, financial discussion here because I'm actually not great at that. It's like understanding exactly like how much you should be charging, gross margins, net margins, all that, but just make sure it makes sense. And then maybe some questions and shit like that if you want to. Like, who do you partner with? SEO companies, this is a good one. What platform do you use to build WordPress or websites? Currently WordPress, whatever. What services do you offer? I'll talk about this real quick. This is the other thing is I had this idea that I probably borrowed from somebody. Uh, I still love this idea, but it's evolved and I don't know. You're free to steal this. The idea of like development, support, and growth, or name them whatever you want. Development is like in my mind, I'll tell you how it was. Like this is designing and building. It's like $10,000 to build a website or whatever, right? And then support is the hosting, security monitoring, the website care plan. That's the ongoing 200, 300, whatever a month or whatever you're doing. And then growth is like the third bucket where it's like, okay, we built the thing, right? You have a strong foundation, cool. Then it's like, well, the next thing you really need is you need it maintained. You need it, maintenance is a thing. So we're going to go that route. Then the third thing is like, okay, you have a website. It's really good. It's a really good foundation. It's working. It's not going to break, but it's also not really going to like make you money unless you continue to put time and energy and stuff into it to bolster it. And then that's kind of where I would go like growth. I love the concept. I just didn't, it's one of those ones where I didn't really like fully implement it enough, and didn't lean into it enough. If you have a team to do this, or if you have the skill set to do all this yourself, would highly recommend that. And then this is just like crazy pricing that I just like wrote down at one point, which I kind of love and kind of hate. It's actually not that crazy. It's definitely not crazy. Like when you look at on the whole, but this isn't like a great way to display it. And this was just one place where like, you would actually just write this here just for your partners to be like, yeah, oh shit. Like I'm referring people that are going to be willing to pay like this. Okay. This is the last thing I'll say on this. If you're going to go this affiliate route, okay, the mindset that you have to have is that you are training an external sales team. Okay. So this is actually a really important question. I'm not saying lay it out like this, but this is a really important question because think of it like this. You have John Doe from the IT business over here that you're going to say, "Hey John, we build websites." Instead of you throwing together a Wix website or you telling somebody that like you're putting in like networking for a new business or whatever, instead when they ask you, "Hey, do you guys do websites?" Instead of like just brushing that off, be like, "Yeah, we actually do. I'll hook you up with them." Okay? They send in Finatech, they send you whatever. Instead of like what you need to make sure ideally is that John, the IT guy, kind of knows who you want. So he doesn't send you 20 shit leads that aren't going to be able to afford what you want. Now, again, I'm not saying that you have to be selling websites for $20,000. I'm just saying that like, make sure that John knows the types of people that you want to take in too. It's not bad to have more leads, but it is kind of like slightly discouraging when you get 100 leads and none of them convert. So make sure there's a little bit like is a concept of like I think it's like marketing qualified leads, sales qualified lead, like like all that sort of stuff. So like just it's an external sales team. It's kind of a cool thing. So yeah. What do we got here? Brendan is just humble. He knows his stuff. Brendan is a genius. Don't let him fool you. Erica loves React. I think a series, Erica and Brendan on React. That would be dope. Hello, Matthew Charles Mullenweg here from WordPress. Can you please remove that logo that I own? Yeah, I gotta. Is that on there? Yeah, we can't do that. Can't do that. I'm gonna get sued. Or say out loud, I am not affiliated with any engine whatsoever. Thanks. Yeah. Where's the checkbox? Is there a checkbox around here I gotta click? Jesus, you're still going. Yeah, bro. Where are you at? Good to see you, Matt. Stick around. Maybe you'll learn something. I don't know. Just kidding. Matt taught me all this. Big disclaimer. Matt taught me all this before I even knew him. So, yeah. All right. So this is, again, don't do as I maybe say, definitely not as I do. The concept here was like services, custom WordPress design. Your website is an investment. Make sure it converts visitors and lead. I had a huge, like very difficult time dealing with this concept of like just businesses not thinking of it as an investment, right? They don't think of it as like, they think of it just something like they need, which is a terrible thing to be selling, like a commodity. It's just, you don't want that, right? It's like selling toilet paper. It's like, I don't give a shit. I just, just give me the thing. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not really where you want to be. You got to like kind of retrain them, I feel like. And that's what I was trying to do with some of this stuff, but it obviously like not great, but the concepts again. So like literally, we don't like to mess around. Your time is valuable, so is ours. Unlike some other web development agencies, we're 100% upfront and transparent when it comes to our process and pricing, which is like slightly true with the way that this was laid out, but not really. This has led to a much stronger relationships in our clients and result in even better projects. Below, you will find more information about our stuff. So this was at one point kind of what I was trying to go for. Terrible design. Don't, you know, we know. But like I wanted to literally show them exactly how it is. Now I have different opinions now on whether this is a good idea or not. I think you have to show them the process, but this is like the internal process. You know what I mean? If I was a customer, I would want to know this because that's who I am. But I don't think most businesses give a shit about this level of detail. I think it needs to be, I think this is a good concept, but I think it needs to be much more simplified. But take this, well, literally what I would do is I would take this, I would copy it, I would paste it I would paste it into like a Google Drive Word document or like a Notion thing or whatever. And like if you were, or your team was going to go through it and like, this is your process, but I wouldn't probably put it on the front end. This is probably like unnecessary and they don't need it. Like they need to know this. You can kind of like most of this whole thing, you could kind of just like zip right in like one thing. It could probably even be broken down in just like 1, 2, and 3 and kind of just talk about it like that. And honestly, if I was doing this again and I did go that route that I just said of like development, support, and growth, I would absolutely just pitch the whole thing like that. This is actually a huge important piece that I hope to get across to. I don't know if you guys are like this or not, or if people watching on the replay. I think my record for building website and then selling care plan to said client, again, I'm not saying it was always the same price and sometimes it was like ridiculously inexpensive like when I first started, but I think every single website that I ever made, I'm 100% like 100% success rate on selling the care plan. So I just never ever, I don't know why I never had any trouble with that, but like I never had an issue with being like, hey, we're going to build your website and we're going to maintain it. Like, that's it. Like, if the sale fell through, the whole thing fell through. It was never like, you know, maybe it's just because I pitched it like that too, is what happened. But my point is that I never had an issue with selling care plan. But the reason I think is because from the get-go, I said, we're going to support this. Like, we're going to build the website and we're going to have the care plan. You are going to be in for this for like, you know, whatever, thousands, whatever for the site. And then you're also going to be in like, at least like, you know, 150, 200, 250 a month for the support piece, right? I would really, if you're not doing that, I would highly recommend doing that because you need the recurring revenue in this business. You can't chase the shit. You need recurring revenue in every business technically, but you can't chase that because it just becomes like really like tough. So I say all that to say that if I was doing services again, I'd probably just pitch it in that way where it's like, yeah, here we have a bunch of services, but here's kind of like how we operate. And it's like, we're going to build the thing for you. We're going to support it for you. And we're going to potentially like grow it for you. Just to give them an idea of how it normally goes. And then from there, you can see what happens. But yeah. Erica says, I need a refresher. Yeah, Brendan, you and Erica explorative React series. Love to see that. Derek, what's up, brother? Appreciate being here. Do you ever present evidence or statistics to help your site owners generate more leads and conversions? I have never really done that, although I've seen that done very well. We have some case study stuff, but I don't think it's like really any good. Just because again, this website is going in the trash because it's been here for several years and I haven't given that much of a shit about it. But I would highly recommend that throughout you put like testimonials and stuff like that. Again, this is more of a do as I say, not as I do thing. But then when we get to the testimonials, there are some interesting things that I was working on at one point that are just not done. Showing progress is a fantastic idea. I'd go more high level and visual breakdown and project brief. Yeah, for sure. You need the process. You just don't need that crazy internal process. This is not a good way to communicate that you sell websites for $10,000. Not a good way at all. I personally like the idea of putting the pricing out there to a degree. I just don't. I did it terribly here. But I would also say that you have to decide on if you're going to go the custom route or if you're going to have like packages And if you have packages, you have to stick to those packages or have some like it's just you cannot let the clients like walk all over you. And it's not like they're even doing it on purpose. They just don't know. And they're just like, can we do this? Can we do that? And you have to be like, no, I told you no, but I'm going to tell you no again. It's like it would cost extra. And just like you have to have like a real quick comeback every single time that they're like, can we do this? And you have to like manage the expectations up front as easily as possible. Be like, this is how it goes, at least standardly. But there's probably a way to do it where this is how it normally goes. But listen, we're a business and we want you to be happy. This is how it normally goes for this price, da da da, whatever. But if you want to pay us more money, I'll do backflips, bro. Like I have no problem with doing that. The problem is not that I'm telling again from personal experience. The problem is not this number. The problem is the work that is tied to this number. I will build $500 websites, but I'm only going to spend 2 hours max on them. You know what I mean? So that's the thing you have to keep in your mind. Okay? So and then there's this whole conversation of like hourly versus whatever project based, but like you have to have like that. I feel like you have to have that constantly as something as a metric there, right? Also, random thing that I didn't talk about. I believe this is a HubSpot in the bottom left. HubSpot chat that literally never got used. I'm not. What are our thoughts on chat? I don't know. I don't really like. It's a cool concept, but I don't know if it's actually useful in a lot of cases. But it depends. You definitely don't want people like, do you want people supporting you through there? That's a whole nother topic for a different time. But let me know if you guys ever had chat on your website. Some questions. I'll just go through these real quick. I already have a domain name. Can I use it? This is an important piece. Like, we need technical access. You don't have to necessarily do it here per se, but don't own your client's domains, I would say. In general, what are the costs associated? This is hard to break down. We normally say for this, we normally say website support. This is outdated and everything, whatever. And then the website growth is like, again, meh. It was the concept. I really stand by the idea of like giving people an idea of what to expect. So they're not, there was this clip I saw recently from Alex Ramosi where it's like, if somebody asks you what something costs, you say it's expensive. Like you like brace them, and then regardless of what you say next, it's like they'll be like, oh well, at least if it is expensive, they'll be like, oh well, at least he braced me for it. I can't remember exactly how I said it, but then it's like if they had a bigger number in their head, which they probably would, then they'll be like, oh, that's not that bad. Like like something like that where it's like to give them an idea. Maybe not right on the website. Maybe not like, again, right like this, but I don't know. At least a range, okay? You know what I mean? Like at least like our average is whatever. If you had some actual data on it too, that would be great, but I didn't. Do you offer support? Yeah. How long does it take to website? That's a really good explanation to give people, depending like on average. And then what platform do you build? You can kind of give them some information there. And says clear communication up front that you can refer to later can save you a lot of discussion. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Live chat is a pain because you have to be logged in and paying attention. Yeah, I think I had at one point with this thing down here, I had the HubSpot app on my phone, which depending on how much you want to separate your business from your personal life could be a real pain because you could just be getting like random. I got like a few messages throughout my tenure of using that. I don't even know what the status is now, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's a cool concept, but you also have to be like, I don't even know what this does. Yeah, this is more like directed as a sales chat. So yeah, interesting. 1+1,000 RT camp. Oh, I missed that one. Oops. Did you ever see the RT campaign work? That's a great agency. No, I have not. I will star that and take a look at that. I tried live chat, but learned that I don't want it out there for prospects. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure there's different schools of thought and different pros and cons to it. So, yeah, I personally just literally hate email because it gets just so much spam and everything like that. But unfortunately, like there are alternatives. There's a ton of alternatives, but like where do you send your clients? How do you get them? Like, do you, it's like It's like, where do you go next? And then there's a difference obviously between sales and support. So it's weird. But yeah. I love getting inspiration from agencies like 10 Up and Human Made. Yeah, 100%. They're great ones. The one in my neck of the woods, I always shout them out because I know them. I know the co-founder is Humor. Um, I'm not hiding the fact that I definitely stole a lot of inspiration from not, I don't know if it was this website or their previous one, but yeah, I mean, we're all doing a lot of similar stuff, right? So it's like, as long as you put your own flavor on it, I think there's a lot there. Appreciate that, Ann. Thank you for the DM there. Just have somewhere that a visitor can go to book a consult with you. Yeah, that's a good one. I have some thoughts on that too. Let's talk about that. I'm gonna pin that one, Steve, when we get to this next one here in a second. I think this is the most beneficial live stream I've watched on your channel, and I've joined the time. Appreciate you, Toby. Thank you for saying that, man. Thank you. I try to be helpful when I can be. On my contact page, they have an option to book a free 30-minute Zoom meeting. Yeah, 100%. So let's go. So let's talk about the work, then we'll talk about the next one here, because I got some thoughts on that start here situation. So like our work, this is like kind of where I was trying to do like a little bit of the whole thing, and obviously I was like putting personal projects in here too, because I was like showing, this is outdated, but I was like showing the concept of like what I've done, fully, like not just as a business per se, but just as like a web developer in general. And I like the concepts here a little bit. The design is a little ass, but it's, cards, they changed over the time. I like the faceting. I actually really like this. I think I did steal this from Humor. Is like, if you do work in different industries, showing by industry. I mean, you could even have like, it's just taxonomy pages. I would highly recommend that, like finance, web design, and like have a full page for that or whatever. But I would recommend that, would be a good idea. Try to do this weird thing where it looks like everyone's its own little, like website. I think I took that from another place that I saw at one point, but, yeah, just something kind of interesting. Tried to feature a couple of like the bigger ish brands and businesses that I worked with. I think that's kind of a good idea. People come to your work, and then they can they could jump in. I don't know what we're going to find inside of here, but I'll tell you what the concept was. So actually, let me go to this one. I think has, yeah, there's a little bit more content here. So again, this is ass. Don't do as I do. But so like, just knowing what it is, again, design or whatever, concept wise, the challenge, loved that. Don't know where I stole it from. Loved that. The solution, loved that. Didn't do anything. Loved it. This, I think I might've stole this, but I definitely adapted this. Here's what I love. Okay. I don't know what this is called. Okay. I know what it's technically called, but I don't know what is wrong with my brain that I love this. I love walking people through this concept where like they come here and they're like, okay, this is what this is, whatever. The challenge, this is what we were tasked with, whatever. The solution, this is what we did. And it could be more, it should probably be a little more visual. This part right here is what I love, where it's like in the back end of this website, we have, let me see if I can give you a visual. We have in the back end of this website, which is a mess, we have like services, right? So we have the services that we offer. So when you go to the services page, I know this is just relationships, what I'm describing, but like the way in which it comes together, we have services where you would show like all your services, and the services aren't laid out properly on the front end, but we have services. And then in the actual case study, right, we're saying the services that we provided were website support, custom WordPress design, paid discovery. I think this one is the one we looked at. I'm pretty sure website support is an ass template that is currently, oh, actually, this is actually half decent. I don't know why this wasn't on here. Okay. So like the concept would be like, okay, I know this is like, person comes here and it's like, okay, this is interesting. They're looking at your portfolio. They're like, okay, this is seemingly maybe like me. Maybe they're a finance firm or something like that. And they're like, oh, the services are provided. Okay. So maybe I'm thinking too much for a customer, but they're like, the services are provided. Okay, so they did these services for this project. Well, this is a link. Maybe you could signal that a little bit better, but this is a link. Okay, so they did paid discovery, which I don't think has anything because I never really fully fleshed that out marketing wise. But then, they're doing website support. It's like, we'll protect your investment, whatever. You're just, and they could hopefully be like, oh, okay, that website that I like and looks like me like, I'm actually not sure why I didn't have this on the thing. I think it's because I was changing pricing and stuff. I don't know. This is actually half decent. It's not done. Obviously, nothing is done, but this is actually half decent. We need to go over this because there's some maybe some insights here. But the to finish this point is they would be able to go and be like, oh, these are the services they did, da da da, whatever, and that's kind of how it would go. And then like this partners, this again the platform or like maybe the platform I like because if you were using like Shopify or WordPress or anything else, like you could always like signal that there. I don't think that didn't go anywhere, but I like the idea of being able to. What's going on here is the actual case study is related to case studies are related to services, and you can kind of do that on the back end there. And then obviously a link to the live website. Also had, let me give you another example real quick. We got too many tabs open. Too many tabs open. What's a archived one? I think this one's archived. Maybe it'll work. This is a cool idea for you guys if you want to do this. The live link or the archived website, if you can do that, and this is just going to open like a PDF. It's not great, obviously, but it's like you could still see the design. So I don't know if you guys have ever thought about doing that. There's probably reasons to not do that too, but just another idea. I just wanted to show you one that was archived. So the integrations, I actually love this idea. I know who I stole this from. I'm going to give it credit. I stole this from SG. This guy, I think it's a brother team. You guys might have seen some of their videos actually. Simon Gondek, I think is his name. Great website here. Again, I would highly recommend. They've done a lot of really cool stuff. I'm sure they do a lot of really good business. They're kind of like sporadic now on the YouTube videos, but really big in like e-commerce and everything like that. Great stuff here. I would highly recommend that as for some more inspiration. But the concept was like integrations. Now it didn't really work out well and it's not really great, but the concept would be like you have like integrations with like, okay, maybe this website like had Calendly or something in it. So you have these integrations, right, are features, I think is what I call them. Maybe. No, maybe not. No, features is the next one. Features is sick. Hang on a second. Support attribute. Oh my God. I did so much cool shit with dynamic data on this. So when I said integrations, I did like partners. You could do integrations or whatever, but these are all of the partners / integrations are like their own custom post type. And then I related all of those into specific ones. Now, again, it's not rendering properly because I didn't query and everything like that, but that's not hard to do. The thing is like, that's another cool thing is like, okay, so now the finance firm that's looking at this and be like, okay, I like that design. That's cool. Okay, this is what the Find a Tech did for them. This is the website I go look at. This is the platform. Oh, let me keep going. Oh, these are the integrations. Oh shit, we use HubSpot. Maybe they could integrate that for us too. And the price tag is just fucking going up, by the way, when they're looking at all this. And then, whatever else, right? So And then the features, this is next level. And this, I have to give full credit to those guys, those SG web partners. This is unbelievably smart. Okay. Like if you just take all of your features that you have and they could be, these are like, to you and I, we just look at this and we're like, well, how did you do that? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These are lay people terms. Okay. This isn't, nobody gives a shit what you use on this page. Nobody cares what you use for the advanced custom search. Okay. They just, maybe that's probably a bad example. This is probably a better one. No one cares what you use for the appointment scheduling. Okay. Not necessarily. They will care, but they don't care. They care that you can do that. Okay. They don't know how you do it. Maybe they have like a calendar or something like that in the integrations thing. We'll talk about that. Like that's similar. But like they just know that, oh, appointment scheduling, we would love to do that on our website. They've done that for other people. You could have a whole page, obviously, too, of all the features that you do. But this is like attaching it to a specific project. Oh, we would love appointment scheduling. They can do that. That's amazing. Price tag up. Oh, they can build a client portal for us? Oh, price tag up. You know what I mean? It's like these could be line items almost. Some of them get into a little bit of the weeds, like, whatever. Like this is just an example. You don't have to go this deep. But my thing is like document e-signature. I did that on a website. Like, you know what I mean? It's just this type of stuff is like, it's downloadable resource library. Ooh, buzzwords. Like we could build that. It's, you and I know it's like not like that crazy, but it is more time, more energy, more site architecture. But they want it. They see it. They want it. This is, I love this actually. The more that I look at this, like this is really really cool. So yeah, live chat. We talked about that like a little earlier. All sorts of stuff. Manageable FAQs, whatever. Steal this. Steal the list. I don't care. Do whatever you want. And then just like kind of like this was just a picture of the thing or whatever in a testimonial. I highly recommend testimonial. Do you need the pictures? I don't necessarily know if you need the pictures. If you're going to do a picture, probably just don't do a picture. Probably be like more like how you designed it or something. But that would be kind of my thought process there. Wow, the humor site is a masterclass. Yeah, they're serious over there. They got quite the team, almost like 100 people, I think. Must read book. Yeah, StoryBrand. StoryBrand is a good one. I need to read that one. So I would say that for it's some direction if you want to do like case studies like really in depth. I would love doing more of that. I just have not. So that is that. Also, let's go back over this real quick, and we are going to probably wrap here within the next 30 minutes for sure, because my voice is just about gone and I'm hungry. All right, hopefully you guys are getting some out of this. If you do, click that like button. Thank you. All right, so website support. We all know this. We all call it different shit. Website support was my cool, like, quick little name. Don't really love it. I love it that it's like one word, like support is one word, but it's not the greatest. When you reduce it down, it doesn't. I would go website care plan personally. I feel like it's better, or website like management or maintenance. I don't know. It's tough. Do whatever you want. But this is just a page that I had at one point, and I would highly recommend that you do something like kind of tell them what it is, or have tiers. Tiers are another way to go. I like the idea of tiers. 3 probably, and there's a method. I think it's like 2.25x. I think it's something like that. So like 100, 220, 500. Might not be that. It's actually probably different. Look up a good scale for price anchoring like that if you're going to do tiers. I would highly recommend. But what I did here was, this is again actually like custom post types, and I have like support attributes is what I called it, and each one of these is a post, so to speak, like a support attribute, and I have these queried. Let me get rid of this stuff. So I have these queried in here, and they each have like a title, an icon, like a description of it, and then why you should care. I think this is a good tidbit. I don't know how to present it exactly, but what they're getting, right? Like the actual thing that they're getting. If you care to go this much in depth, you can make it simpler. But if you care, put what they're actually getting, put why you think, like what that means, or like a description, or like, something like that. And then why you should care. It's like, because somebody's going to ask this question, like, well, why do I need that? That's maybe hosting is more self-explanatory, but there's probably other ones like this SSL, maybe slightly more. It's like your website users will be protected from getting their personal data information stolen by hackers, right? Like I'm not saying say that. I'm just saying, it's a concept. Is there any other ones that might be good? This one's good. Like they'll be like, why do I need that? Yeah, your form submissions need to be delivered, stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, I feel like a lot of what we do in this industry here is translating the tech shit to like the layperson shit and selling it. And I think that this is one opportunity to kind of do so. You don't have to lay it out like this. You can do it different ways, but that's what I would say. Any other good stuff down here? Vast majority of websites. This is a good question. I love this concept of being like, why do your current clients think about it? Why do your current clients use it or whatever? So that's a good one. Appreciate the paying for peace of mind, all that sort of stuff. Why does your website include updates to structure? Why doesn't it include? This is another question. Like, do you or do you not include updates to the structure and design and everything like that? If you don't include it, you should probably make it clear that you are happy to do it, but it's too hard to price or something like that would be my recommendation. Or just give them some time built in, but I was never a fan of that. What does it not include? Another really good question. What does it not include? Domain fees, changes or whatever, site specific paid software like premium plugins. You should probably express all of that. Make sure it's in your contract too. I would highly recommend Monster contracts for that. And what did I say here? Yeah, we offer that too, just in case they come here and they didn't see that for some reason. Okay, cool. One more thing. This has been a marathon here. Let's take a look. Okay, so start here is I love the start here concept. Not sure if it's the best CTA, but I do like that concept. I'll tell you this. This has been the bane of my existence since I put this up here. Was my thought process was like, oh yeah, if they want a website, they're going to click start here and they're going to put this stuff in here and they're going to fill these out. We'll talk about the questions. The secondary thing was like though, I don't have a contact form. I do have a contact page, but I don't have it like linked and didn't, whatever. So it's like I've gotten an unbelievable amount of not spam, but like people like soliciting through this. And it's like not leads. It's people that like want to work with me, like want me to pay them to do stuff or whatever. And it's like they'll click like $50,000 plus and like this or whatever, and they'll just like put garbage in here. It's like, I guess that's slightly my own fault, but whatever. Like it's, I said contacting us for something else, go over here. And this is where I thought that would solve that problem. It didn't. So just something to think about. I like these questions. Erica, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. We'll see you on YouTube soon, right? We will all subscribe to your channel. You'll be hitting the ground running. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So for start here, like, concept will be like, somebody wants to do business with you. So they're going to put in this information. Obviously we know. I like the idea of asking them what they want help with if they know. Maybe that's too much because they might not exactly know what those are. I like the idea of the budget thing. The trouble is like it definitely can deter people. And I've literally had people click like this option, the lowest option, and then be like, then email me and be like, hey, I submitted that, but I don't think we can afford $10,000. Like, well, okay. Maybe you have like an under $10,000 option or something like that. And then just internally, you're kind of like vetting them to say like, yeah, okay. Yeah, this probably isn't going to go the way that I want it to, or I'm probably not going to make, this isn't probably going to be one of those projects. This is probably going to be like a lower tier project or something like that. It all depends on what you want. I don't know. I like the idea of the budget thing, but because I think we should all be transparent, but I don't know if this is the best way to do it. Probably not. Main goal, I kind of like these types of questions. I actually really like my Calendly, which I'm going to get to in a second because I don't really use Calendly anymore. And in the new minimum viable product website here, we're going to be using LatePoint because I met the founder Tamik at WCUS, and I tried LatePoint a while ago, and now I have retried it, and it's light years like better than where it was, and he's a really good developer, and the whole community is like building that product, so to speak, kind of like through Discord and everything like that. So yeah, LatePoint there's gonna be more stuff about LatePoint coming, but I'm liking it so far. So yeah, I don't think I ever responded to that Facebook post about my new thing, but yeah, if you're here, it's LatePoint. That's where we're going. There are a ton of other good options, but that's the one that I'm currently rocking. And we'll get more to that. But this right here is just like a standard form. I think this is actually back when I was using Jet Form Builder, which is great if you're using Jet Engine and everything like that too. Main goal, and then why is now the right time? You don't need to have them write essays. I think a really good thing, Will, I would always do this. I would always say, where did you hear about us? Make this required so you kind of know where that lead came from, just from them. You also do some tracking shit too. But the other thing is specifically on booking and those types of things. There's a question that I have on my Calendly right now. Is like, this is a really good question in my opinion. What are the things that like are the worst about your website right now? Like what would you say? And you could do like a checkbox if you have the options. Like things like it's slow, outdated design, not converting. I don't have a website. Like those things, if you can get a bead right from the time that they submit something on what their biggest gripes are with their current setup, you're off to the races, because then you can kind of tune your language and your pitch a little bit to make sure you're hitting on those things. Highly recommend that. Last thing I want to say here is, I don't know why I changed this. But I personally now am much more, I think I've talked about this on stream too, and I'm not sure where I'm at with this, so you guys can get the first look, because I was just playing around with this yesterday. This is the staging website, and this is much more like, to me, it like speaks to me a little bit more, is like just book a call. like, you know, seriously, just book a call. Like Steve was saying, just I don't want you to fill anything out. Like just like there's a couple questions in here, but just please book a call. Like if you're serious enough, then just be like, and this is a little different. Like this is kind of what I was talking about here. Like I don't have a website, it's slow, whatever. And like how'd you hear about us? Just book the call. You know, we don't need to go through like forums and stuff like that where I'm going to get spammed and shit. And this might, I'm not saying this is the best practice, but this is probably what this new one is going to look like. It's just like, hey, also I called it, the new thing is like a synergy session. It's not new. It's been around for a while, but just not on that old website. It's like, hey, this is the concept is we're going to book a synergy session. I don't know if we're a right fit. Like you can look around and see if we're a right fit, but I don't know you. So we're going to find out, are we a good fit? Let's find out. We're excited. Let's book a call. We'll have a 30-minute meeting. If we're a good fit, we'll draft a proposal and we'll send it to you for review. You know what I mean? Like that's it. So that's a bit of the concept there. And they go through that real simple, real clean. That's all that is. The next time you see the Find a Tech website, like when it's fully launched, also we got the little ACSS thing going on there. Got to play around with that more. But the next time you see that, it'll be cleaner. It'll be more minimal because while I like a lot of the things that I expressed in that thing to wrap all this up, I want that to be just as minimal and somewhat viable as possible because like I said earlier, I think I'm slightly pivoting from like a personal mental focus from more of just client work to more of like content, sponsorship work, affiliate, community, product. I think that's where I'm going long term. But I still think that there's a lot of value here. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. You've seen the entrepreneurial journey. We hopped in the DeLorean, flipped on the flux capacitor, went back in time, saw the timeline, saw everything that kind of like for me to get to this point currently, accomplished the goal of kind of like documenting how those websites look and feel and have been in the past here, even though they've been like pretty much inactive and dormant. Now I'm going to go back once I turn off the camera and take this stuff and kind of just archive it, probably take it down for a while. And then maybe if you stick around long enough, maybe one day you will see like Fueled by Progress be risen from the ashes, perhaps. And we'll see where the new Find a Tech website goes and all that sort of stuff. But I've had this problem of being like kind of a little more overzealous and sporadic in where I'm thinking. So I need to try to remain more focused on the opportunities that I have right now, which are much more in line with like what you see on this channel on a regular basis. So that was a peek behind the curtain, guys. Back in time. Hope you enjoyed that thumbnail with the little cave tomb thing. But yeah, so appreciate all you being here. Toby, thank you for being here, man. All of you guys have been fantastic. Really appreciate the engagement, the questions, and all that. Let me know if you need anything or you want to see anything further too. DM me or put in the comments or whatever, anything like that. I'm always looking for more ideas. I got a ton, but I want to make sure that we're providing as much value as possible in this channel, on the website, stuff like that. So that's all I got, guys. I'm tired. I'm hungry. My voice is almost gone.